What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and I'm here with Reg, Dom, Johnny, Citizen Sleeve, Silver, and Idiot Doom Spiral, who will be called 3 different things throughout this podcast, for sure.
At least.
At least. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Absolutely appreciate you guys being here for the 6-year anniversary of the channel. Well, we considered it 6 years. I don't think we're going to hit it perfect, but do we hit perfect, right? Did we hit anything perfect? Weren't we off? Didn't Silver correct us?
Well, he tried. And then I corrected him, and we just said whatever.
We're like, screw it. Screw you, yeah. Silver. But no, I want to thank these guys, and I also want to give a shout out to Go Burns. So Go Burns started out the podcast with us, how many ever years ago? 6.1 or 5.9, yeah. Whatever we're at. Whatever. Yeah. And yeah, I'll put him in the right place in a second. Anyway, so we were it's been like a long road. He ended up leaving. Whoops, I moved us around. He ended up taking off and doing his own thing, but it was all good. He's a great guy, and we had a good time with him, and we had to replace him with somebody. And Johnny had been on multiple times, so we merged them for a little while, and once Go left, we decided Johnny, was enough. Like, we could only handle just Johnny. Like, that was it. I was thinking about bringing a couple more people on, but once we brought Johnny on, I'm like, he's a handful all by himself. We just decided to stick with just Johnny.
Larger than life.
Yeah, and we made a foursome, man.
That's what she said.
It's actually
There it is.
Technically,
there it goes.
Technically, it wouldn't just be she; it would be they in some way.
Right.
If it's not they and you got 4, there's another problem that we could talk about at a later time.
Unless you count. Okay, let's move on from this point.
Why? Let's discuss it.
Well, it depends on the count.
Well, okay. How would it be? No, it'd have to be they. If you said 4,
it would have to be they. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, unless there's a mannequin involved or something where you're not going to give them an identity.
Oh, what if it was like a 2B Android? Does that still would you count that as a person?
That's a good point, and something that should be discussed.
Yeah,
because we've talked about this for Cyberpunk sex bots. Like the same 4 sex bots were shared by a population of 800,000 people. Like, oh, anyway, speaking of sex bots, Dom is here. Sexy Dom.
Great segue.
So that everybody knows, welcome. Dom was the guy I talked about on Twitter who sent me an email saying like, hey, I want to be on the show, and here's why, and sent me a little video, and I was like, hell yeah. It took a little bit because everything was in flux, but thank you, Dom, for showing up, and you do have a channel. Go ahead and pimp it. What do you got going on?
Hi, everyone. I am Dom from the UK, as you can probably hear. I run a gaming news channel called the Talking Boxes Network. Brief history, I've been in gaming space for about 8 years. I did 4 years in esports and 4 years on my own independent projects. I've worked with Blizzard and every esports company under the sun, and used to host and cast a lot of the StarCraft 2 tournaments back when WCS was still a thing, GSL, etc. So lovely to be here. Thank you. And as for the video, going with a bang.
What's the exact YouTube name?
So youtube.com/Talking Boxes Network.
Talking Boxes Network. Excellent. So if you guys get a chance, go check him out. Hit the subscribe button, or maybe don't, whichever. Idiot Doom Spiral doesn't have a channel, so I was going to allow him to pimp his stuff. But hey, do you have anything else? Anything currently you're doing, Idiot Doom Spiral? Something amazing? Is that username is that sort of some kind of cover for you being super smart, maybe winning the Nobel Prize, or?
No, it's pretty accurate. I think as far as that goes, it's not an uncommon occurrence for me. All 3 of those things. So no, I'm just glad to be here and jump in with you guys. I'm a supporter of the podcast, and I listen every week. Love being in the Discord community, and just happy to be here and hang out today.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast, man. I'm glad you could show up.
Thanks for having me.
Citizen Sleeve, another person I'm glad could show up because he wasn't answering emails for multiple days. I thought he died. See, occasionally I'll check on people. This is the first time I think I've checked on Sleeve twice in my life, I believe.
Like poke him. See if he's
I
like
poked him
still.
a couple years ago for something. I can't remember what it was. And then this time I was like, dude, this guy's not answering me. So I poked Silver because I had already got a hold of it. And Silver reminded me that, that Sleeve had taken some herbal sleeping pills with like melatonin and L-tryptophan and had all these issues sleeping. We thought you were asleep, dude. But you went camping. You just decided to.
Yeah, just to get out. Because I thought I'd slept for like 18 fucking hours straight. So I was like, I need to do something, man. I cannot just sit here. I need to do something physical. So I went out camping and knackered myself out a bit. So now I'm shattered again. So we'll see how that goes.
That's one of the things I was saying in the Discord was anything herbal actually makes me way worse the next day. I don't know what it is about them, but everybody's always suggested stuff because I don't sleep much, and only like Ambien has ever worked for me. I've tried like L-tryptophan or what is it, tryptophan, melatonin. Melatonin works, but then the next day I wake up and I feel like two people, where it feels like your brain's slightly separated and everything's taking longer. Almost like dementia. There's something where everything doesn't connect. But Sleeve's got a channel. He didn't pimp it.
I will chuck it in chat, but you can find me everywhere as Citizen Sleeve. I'm on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. I occasionally make videos. I occasionally stream, although I should do a lot more. The last one I did was I brought back my old series after you mentioned it, like a podcast or so ago, talking title screens. You'll find me in Karak's Discord. I'm ACG alumni, basically. Been in there for, 5 years or whatever.
Graduating class, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Since the beginning almost. So yeah, check me out where you can.
So here's what's interesting. Yesterday, I was looking up a game, and I typed it in, and guess whose video was number 3, Sleeves, for talking title screens for KOTOR. Was it KOTOR? No, it was, I was trying to get one of the screen.
I did a KOTOR one, yeah.
Okay, then it was KOTOR, but I was getting screens for today's comic back, and I looked it up, and I started looking. I'm like, that looks like Sleeve, and it was your video was in the list of videos.
Really? That must be like 2 years old or something.
Well, it's KOTOR, right? Took off because of last night.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
just pimped itself out. Yeah, that's cool.
And Johnny, what have you got going on? We've been carrying you this entire time, so now it's your turn.
Happy old baby.
For a couple years now, we've been carrying you, so it's time.
Yeah, exactly. So I run a channel called Johnny Plays Live. So it's YouTube/C/Johnny Plays Live. And every week I do a discussion video, normally about gaming. Sometimes I branch out about like other media, like shows. This week I'm talking about anime. So today's video, I linked it in chat, is about the 3 anime that I think don't get talked about enough. And it has a very cute uwu face thumbnail. So go be persuaded to click on it. And yeah.
The thing about you is you always end on that down note. You're like, and click on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people are like, all right, well, he doesn't seem interested, so either way. I love how you ended that.
Shit.
Yeah. So go check out his channel, click on it, even if he doesn't sell it well, even if he's just humble. He's just humble. He doesn't want to push it too hard. But you should check out his stuff. He's also on Twitch. But the YouTube stuff's newer, right? Or not necessarily newer, you're just pushing it more now because we moved.
Yeah, since we moved here, I also made the call to prioritize it more. So now I stream 3 times a week on Twitch. But I'm now doing like weekly content for YouTube for people who only like that kind of stuff, or it's having more of a presence here.
Welcome, Steve, new member. I've known Steve longer than any of you guys. S.H. Cohen, Steve, Purple Santa. Known Purple Santa for like, he'll have to say, I think 12 years, 13 years. It's so weird because my family's left me, but friends from the internet stick around. I have no clue what's going on. They like me way more.
You suck in real life, that's why.
Dude, that's what, it's like you guys can always mute me, right? Even in a podcast, you could technically do that.
Like we have 95% distance from you. Like we have our own
it's totally fine. Yeah, when you get that 5% of Karak, it's all funny, right? Yeah, exactly.
I had to get to the Northern Lights to get away, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. I traveled all the way over here. But yeah, thank you very much for becoming a new member. I'll read, I think we got a super chat. I'll read that in a little bit. I definitely appreciate those too, because we are getting demonetized. Yesterday's chat, I was like, don't worry about super chats. If you do them, that's fine. And 16 copyright claims because of all the videos, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second, is Sony's event, which was huge. But I figured that what we'd do is we'd open, do a little bit, and then jump to news, and then do the Sony event. But prior to doing the news, I just want to say thanks to everybody. It's been 6 years. It's awesome. Most of us have had a really good time. Been the occasional issues here and there, but overall, been fantastic, man. We've had an excellent time. These guys have stuck around. I just now started paying them, so they stuck around. So if anybody's like, he pays them now, but they stuck around prior. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah, glutton for punishment, man. That must be what it is. Like you guys, maybe it's a little bit like going and praying, like apologizing for all the shit you did through the week. You're like, all right, dude.
You mean our Friday? That's our penance.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, whatever. We'll sit with Karak for a little while and we'll talk to him. Prior to getting into this, is there anything that we want to talk about? We are going to take some questions from the people on the channel and stuff, but anything you guys want to say? Because you guys have also been here for almost as long, nearly as long as I've been posting videos correctly.
Yeah, as the newest person, I'll break the ice and I'll say this for me has been like a Cinderella story where you go from like fan to being a member of it. So for me, it's very special. So to get a bit cheesy for a second there, we're not, we don't need to sing Backstreet Boys together or anything.
Ooh, like that.
I mean, we could.
I'd be on board.
AC's back. All right. Is that NSYNC or is that Boys to Men? No, that's NSYNC.
Tell me why. Okay, you get the idea. I appreciate you fucks, and it's been a ride.
Yeah, it's
so
been
cheers.
awesome. I'm glad we got you in because we've joked about it, but when you started, I couldn't understand you in voice chat. I could, but like you were learning English. And I was always like, man, you just piss me off, dude. Like there was so many, but I was like, I really like what he's saying. I'm going to bring him on and like work through it, which is, it's strangely enough, one of the things about like international podcasts. That's why we've sort of always talked about it, is it's so cool because we figured all of that stuff out. And then as we jump in, we're just like, oh, wow, this is actually a blast. Like he fits really well. Like sometimes you bring somebody in, you'll be like, this isn't working out so well, but it's been amazing. I'm glad you got to get, show up and brought your A game for the most part. There's down days. I'm just
right.
Build him up and then
Silver Reg, anything?
I mean, it's been a wild ride. I couldn't have imagined back then. Why not just send? Yeah, sure, I'll do it. Back to your shout out, who would be on a podcast that 6 years later we'd still be doing it weekly.
Yeah, it's crazy because I know you don't stick with stuff. If you would have refunded me if you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Refund.
Yeah. What about you, Silver? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I've tended to edify on our previous anniversaries, so I don't think my feelings on the podcast and on being here are a secret. That I have a great appreciation for, and they're also sort of, again, I think I mentioned that this earlier this year because I'm turning 40 tomorrow. Ooh. So there's also that sort of notion that I've spent like the majority of my 30s actually on this podcast, like more than half a decade. Which is kind of both sobering and really you appreciate it because it's been a really, really great time with you guys. It's been something I've looked forward to every week. It's sometimes been the high point of my week to just get here and talk to you guys about gaming as sort of an outlet for things outside of what a lot of the stuff that I deal with outside of this podcast, which is real world stuff that often has a lot of really, really terrible and horrifying ramifications for a lot of people and can often be extremely emotionally draining and taxing. So it's been enormously gratifying. I'm extremely grateful to everyone for allowing me to be a part of the community and for allowing me to contribute to it in some small way.
My dude, get in here. I'm not a single tier kind of guy, but I'm getting a little sting on the left eye.
One of the things about Silver too is hasn't aged and gone back in time to black and white. If you can't tell me that's not magic, but no, it's been awesome. He makes me think about stuff calls me on shit I say and makes you think about stuff. Makes me pissed enough to yell at him once in voice chat.
Yeah.
Which is it's funny because you always hear the story of like if you don't like marriages, if you don't fight, blah blah blah. We don't none of us do for the most part. But I have found that like the occasional time where it's like, what? And then you start talking about it and you're like, oh, I get it. It's actually, I mean, we get along, which is awesome. But I know a lot of podcasts where I talk to them and they don't really get along. They do on screen, but it is funny that for the most part, like everybody's talking and hanging out and joking around. And it's been a pleasure. And it's been a pleasure because everybody watching. Real quick, I'm going to read this. Kel says, my condolences on your impending birthday, Silver. It happens to all of us.
Sadly, it does. Yeah.
And then Mike, $10 super chat. Karak, I watched the ACG review of Tales of Arise. My controller worked with a Steam copy, but the keyboard doesn't have a way to exit the game. Yeah. No,
damn, dude.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know, Reg, you played Tales, right?
I did, yeah.
Any exit button?
Yes, with the controller. On keyboard, I have no idea.
Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so with the keyboard, no exit. And then the controller doesn't work for some people. I know one other reviewer did have.
Yeah, it didn't work for me at first. I had to jump through several hoops and then I got it to work. The biggest one, I think, is do not have the Steam beta enabled. That will for sure disable controller support in the game.
Oh, no shit.
No shit. Steam beta. Okay, I'll check it out. All right, moving on from there, let us begin with the news. Looking at your list, Johnny, was there anything on there that was like the biggest of all the newses?
So for me, Life is Strange is a big highlight came out today. High hopes and apparently high or good reception from most people that I've talked with. I have played it for a couple of hours today. I think Reg as well. And I'm happy that it's coming out all at once. I know some people, maybe even yourself, Karak, like the episodic, coming back to it every now and then. For me, I like the full package in one go. Don't quote that out of context.
Yeah, but we'll just keep going. Yeah,
it's Life is Strange. Is it a game you can really binge though? I mean, I thought the episode made it a bit more palate cleansing, as it were. I mean, Karak, have you completed it from beginning to end? And how did you feel at the end compared to how you started?
You mean, how did I feel? You mean, did I like it?
Yeah, I mean,
I reviewed it. I reviewed it. I liked it a lot. I would say I think that the middle is slow, and that episodic would have helped because it would have allowed for me to wonder what the next episode was going to be versus jumping. So for me, episodic I like much more in any of those kind of games. Like, it's not even close. But for this one in particular, I do think there's a middle ground, and I do wonder if, when it was originally written, if there was an idea of episodic, even just because it does do episodes too. That's another thing. It's not episodic, but it's fucking episodic. When you're playing it, it's like it is. So I mean, I get the delivery and I get the timing and I get why people like it. I know I'm in the minority, but I would have rather had it episodic. That's just me. Reg played it, right?
Yeah. I played through the first episode, and I think I'm in the middle of the second about. That's how far I got so far.
Okay. So you and Johnny,
I'm very, very glad that the misstep of the second one didn't happen again.
Thank God.
And that the writing is much, much better and much more believable again.
Doom, have you played this?
I haven't played this one yet. I watched Johnny this morning running through some of the beginning of it, and it definitely looks interesting. I've never really dove into these titles before, but it's certainly something I'm looking to do for sure. I like the narrative heavy type adventure titles, so yeah.
Gotcha. Silver or Sit, are you guys gonna jump into this?
At some point, maybe. I like the first one. Like you, I had problems with some elements of what was the sequel called? Or
it was just Life is Strange 2.
Just Life is Strange 2. And then there was the short free one, Captain Underpants, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. They're my, they're my type of games. I love narrative-driven games. It just depends on whether it's as strong as it could be, because it just fell off, didn't it? That second game really wasn't as good. But the first game, Life is Strange, is one of the best episodic narrative-driven games I think you can play. Great little game.
Silver, are you going to jump into these? I can't remember. I think you don't like these, right? Or do you?
It's not that I don't like them. I just haven't gotten around to playing them.
Same.
It is a little frustrating because I'm pretty sure I would love them. But there is just some kind of wall there where there's always another game that's pulling me away from it. And yeah, that's just it, really. I'll be thinking about getting into Life is Strange because I do have it. I do have a number of the games in my library. But then I see another indie game or something else that pulls my attention away and says, "Oh, I'd like to play this," and I never get around to it.
It is funny because it just feels like the maturation of point and click, I guess, is what this feels like now. It feels like they're just 3D point and clicks, which they are really. Yeah. And that's why I think I like them. And then Life is Strange surprised me. Blues and Bullets only got to its second episode. I've liked most of the Tales games. Most of them, not all of them. I wasn't a fan of Michonne. I know a lot of people like that. And then all of a sudden, like 2 comes out, and 2 was such a sledgehammer, man. It was such a sledgehammer. It was like in the first 15 seconds, it was just so over the...
Yeah.
It was just so in your face and not subtle. And then this one is subtle, almost to the point of a problem in that middle part where they're just like, do what you want. And you're like, there's not a lot to do. It's a Life is Strange game. It's not necessarily like GTA or something. So there's a moment where I was like, what am I doing right now? And then you sort of have to meander. And they're fairly linear, really. I mean, when you think about it, you're just picking up the same stuff to get to the exact same area in the same way. It's just you make those choices. And seeing your choices was cool. I like that. My choices are always opposite everybody else's. You'll get that thing where it's like 8% of people chose to do this, and I'm like, ooh, sweet.
So do you like
those are my people? Yeah.
Do you like purposefully go into it like with this, like I'm gonna be a contrarian? No. And okay.
No, in fact, I think most people maybe say they don't, but they do go into it thinking they're gonna play a nice character. I go into it where every reaction is if I was the character.
Absolutely.
So that means I can say yes to one person and no to the other, even though I think most gamers would be like, well, I said yes to blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, well, this is a different situation, you know? And I always, and because you're first as a reviewer, so it's even smaller. Yeah. But like, I'll see like 1% of people have chosen this. I'm like, there might only be 10 people playing this. So that might just be me. I like that. I like that it tells you, even if you're a person who doesn't like that stuff, the fact that it's there. I know a lot of people don't like being tracked. You know, they're like, oh my God, my choices are being tracked. And I'm like, yes, your choice in a magical fake game.
Fictional video
game, supernatural teens is being tracked. Oh my God. Reg, what do you think of Alex, the main character? Do you like her better than like Max, Chloe?
I would say it's about the same as Tell Me Why.
Yeah. Thank you. That's the other one. Yeah.
So not as much as Life is Strange 1, but still quite good.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that.
Have all of these been episodic releases up until this one?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting, especially, I mean, with these, I feel like with the invention of like Netflix and like the culture day, it's kind of like this, like I want it all right now. Like I want to binge it, you know? And I think you do, you know, you lose some of that anticipation that you might have had.
The water cooler moment of thinking of things and talking.
Or like, you know, back in the day even too, like with TV shows, and it's like literally you had to fucking wait a week for your next episode to come out. And
I loved it, man.
I did too.
I did too.
Well, I mean, Disney Plus is still doing it like that.
Are they?
Yeah.
And I know like HBO does that. So it might just be like Netflix, but I feel like that's most people I talk to, their preference is like, no, fuck that. I want to watch it all like tonight. I'm a watch, you know, whatever. So
last TV show that felt like an event to me was Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like that really felt like an event every week for, you know.
Absolutely. And that truly was like when you mentioned like a water cooler type, I mean, like at work and with your friends, like everybody was discussing GOT. And,
so good. I don't like Game of Thrones, and I thought it was good. Like I loved it when people came in, because to me, I don't get that excitement with games because I try to stay away from them because I don't want to go into a review being hyped or underhyped. So for TV shows, I can. And when I was coming into the Discord and people are like, dude, Game of Thrones, blah, 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 it's super dark in episode 8 or whatever, you know, I remember the one that had the dark scenes or whatever. But it was so cool to see people excited and then I could buy off on that because I do. That is the one. I do not get sad. I don't have much empathy for video game characters, especially we're going to talk about Tales of Arise. One of those characters I'd like to just kick into a well and cement it over. But I do get excitement, if that makes sense. So, like, if you guys are excited, then I'm like, wait, what? Not, and it can't be for a game. It's like if it's a thing, if it's a movie or show or book, I definitely have noticed in the Discord if somebody's really excited for something that's not games, I jump into that, and I think it's so cool. I think episodic. I get why people want to binge it, but I think it needs a slow burn on some of these stories because, like Alex, man, Alex's power. She can basically leap into your fucking brain, kick your ideas around, and then help you or hinder you. That's not really powerful. I mean, Max was reversing time. So it's a little bit more subtle, and I think a little bit more time to hope that the next episode would allow, what if the next episode allows me for, to go and do this? On the other hand, has anybody got to the flower moment? No. Okay.
I mean,
you
the
would
flower
know.
lady. Yeah.
You have helped her?
Yeah.
Dude, that was awesome. Do you know what I'm... Okay, we do know what I'm talking about. Okay.
I
don't want to spoil that, but I got to say, there was few times where I was like getting family members to come and watch, and I was like, this is the best representation I have ever fucking seen. Dude, there's something... We have to be able to do a spoiler cast, because there is shit that happens in that game where I'm like, that is so intelligent. That is the fucking most intelligent way to represent, this thing that people talked about, and when you hear people talk,
you go into the office, you look at the PC screen, and you're like,
yes, and it's sad, right? It's that moment where you're like, and that's why when Silver said he doesn't always jump into them, I was like, I can also see people being like, they are pretty bittersweet, and that's not fun. I know some people look at those and it's like, I don't really want to like have those feelings, and I'm not saying Silver feels that way because he loves those feelings. I'm saying other people don't necessarily like it. And but dude, I'm glad Reg noticed that, because man, I was just sitting there going like, it's finally, and it was brilliant. Whoever wrote that's fucking brilliant. It reminds me of the first game's D&D moments where like the nerds were sitting around the table, or the bullying, where I was like, this feels right. Like they did this part right.
Like the first moment when you notice something is up and you look around and then walk into the office and look around and see the screen. Man. It's like, oh, okay.
If I had tear ducts, this is where I'd cry. Yeah, dude. Dude. Yeah. So Doom, I know you said you haven't jumped in, but you can jump in. The cool thing about all these, and Dom, I don't know if you played Captain Underpants 2, 1, Beyond the Storm, but if anybody does want to jump in, you can jump in at any time. They're in the same universe and
they're not like direct. Okay.
Yeah, but they sort of
self-contained.
They're like Warhammer 40,000, where sometimes you might hear of somebody else, but they're all on different places. So it works so well. Anyway, I'm really happy to see people enjoying it. Chris, love you guys, but I got to go. I had a newborn the other day. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
One birth and one death. Silver will die tomorrow on his 40th. And once you're 40, it's over, bro. It's over.
It's done.
That's why each year you get away from 40, people look more and more cadaverous. It's because technically
you think he has a black and white filter, but actually the life has already drained from him.
He's like he's snapped.
That's why the meaning of life is 42. It's to give you hope.
Yep, exactly. To make you think about it. Just to make you think about it. Do we have any other news besides, or does anybody else have anything to add about Life is Strange before? Or
quick thing. Yeah, I really like the main character. I think it may be my favorite main character thus far in one of these games.
Okay.
And also, she's quite cute. Ooh.
Well, there we go.
Like the model has been it's evolved since the first one, I think, because the first one is a bit, it's a bit rough, right? It's a bit old, and I think it's now at a point where everything looks way more polished in the game. So the main character for me, she's cute, she looks good, but also like the environments. Reg mentioned this today, and it's very true.
They're
I was
very
playing
stuffed. Like
it's
everything
packed.
has something going on.
It's fleshed out. It looks good, so I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
So go ahead.
So when it comes to, I played Life is Strange 1, but when anything has an extremely strong narrative, I like to watch it like a movie. So I tend to get someone else to play it for me.
Yeah.
One of the things I did notice, and I haven't started watching it yet, kind of, it's like a side work thing, but the facial expressions was one of the things that stood out to me from all the trailers and bits and pieces. Like, this one seems to be the most emotive of all of them, that they don't seem like that. Stony face, but he's really
that's why I wanted to correct. I didn't want to correct Johnny, but I want to make sure that people knew that when he said polished, he doesn't mean it is not. And I said this in the review. It is not high detail, super high texture. It's where their faces have a lot of movement. Lip syncing sometimes a little hit and miss, but their face has a lot of movement, and there's a lot of eye movement and eye crinkle.
Oh yeah, a lot. Like the little darts when they think about something or think about an answer.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's the only thing I didn't like, and I brought this up in the review. They seem to be in love with their own animations. So there are times when you're talking to somebody and you're like, "Yes," and the character goes,
"Right."
Well, okay.
Yes, and you're like, "Jesus, quit." Just say yes.
There was one side lady you can help, like just bird watching.
That's
and I followed her to look where she was going, and that animation made no sense.
Yeah, it made no sense. It made don't follow it. Don't jump into that too in depth. But so I'm glad everybody liked it. What else do we got for big news, Johnny, in the week? Other than we'll cover the Sony stuff in the Sony.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Oh wait,
Any big
K4Ever says super chat $4.99. Thanks for the super chat, guys. You guys rock. Still can't believe Phil allowed Sony to outbid them for the KOTOR remake. Just a big L. No, it is not a big L. You'll find out later. And number 2, it wasn't Phil. Continue. So hold up hope.
Yeah. Well, this is not gaming, but I thought it would be cool to mention it because it's just pop culture. But Matrix 4 got a trailer.
We're going to do that at the end.
We can save that for the end.
We will for sure be talking. Yeah, Sleeve put a trailer in, and we were talking about it. We'll cover it at the end. Because most people show up to talk about games, so I want to do that. We'll talk about movies.
Okay. Well, aside from all the Sony stuff, there was also a KOTOR remake situation.
Do we want to talk about that in the Sony event, though, since it was announced? Yeah, we'll keep that. Is there anything that wasn't at the Sony event? Because I know that's the big news. Was there any Nintendo stuff?
I'm sorry. Was that a part of the event as well? I thought it was.
It was.
The very beginning,
very
okay. My bad.
No worries.
So Amazon Studios managed to piss off another whole set of fan base with the Lost Ark delay. Is their 5th delay in all their games they've produced so far. Basically, it was set to come out the end of Christmas alongside New World. Now they've pushed it back to the first quarter of 2022. So everyone and its mum is saying that it's a conspiracy theory between Smilegate and New World, and that they're intentionally delaying Lost Ark because they've got so much riding on their New World release coming out mid-month.
What the fuck is Lost Ark?
Lost Ark is
Indiana Jones?
The best reaction.
So Lost Ark is made by Smilegate. It's like Diablo mixed in with Korean MMO. So it's like a very flashy top-down action experience. It looks absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't had a look at the trailers, I highly recommend it. They built it on Unreal 3 about 6 years ago. And it looks phenomenal. But basically, Amazon Game Studio, they bought up the licensing agreement and they've agreed to westernize it. But they've been doing a massive translation project, and it's set to come out. Meant to come out this month. But there are 15 classes in it. I have never seen a more beautiful looking ARPG. It is absolutely gorgeous. So if you do like a mixture of MMO elements mixed in with Diablo and flashy characters, then yeah, give it a look. But it's the number one MMO in Korea at the moment, after the Maple Story debacle and the monetization. So
and this one's free to play.
Yep, free to play. Okay. Absolutely free to play. It's got a lot of pat on the backs because it isn't incredibly greedy with its monetization model. So worth having a look.
Never even heard of it.
I haven't.
So weird. This is the first I've heard of it. I'll check it out. I'm not a big fan of those kind of. It depends. I am on some, but yeah, I'll check it out for sure. New member Kel, thank you very much for joining. And named band again, $10 shout out to Johnny and Basil the cat.
Cheers.
The cat is technically now worth more than all of us in this entire podcast. I'm just saying.
No.
So, and what's the other one that they delayed? Amazon delayed, what's it called again? What's the one that
New
sucks so
World?
much? Yeah, New World.
New World has been delayed by, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times now. By
what were you guys
of 1.5 years
and
or so.
complaining about a couple months ago? Was that also New World, but it was a beta or
Yes.
something? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in beta.
There is one again right now. There's like open
Yeah.
beta right now again.
140,000 people on it at the moment. So it's doing quite well
Wait a
for
minute.
itself.
140,000 people live right now?
Yes.
In the closed beta, open beta, yeah.
You can see the server. They're showing the full server numbers?
It's on Steam. It's the Steam stats.
Wow. 140,000 people live? Is that like the biggest number? No, GTA would have been something like that, I assume. But that's massive. Well, good for them.
Yeah, doing
if it's
very,
good.
very well for itself. Considering how controversial its start off was.
Yeah.
A big pat on
Anybody
the
in
back,
chat,
so-
you guys even know what the fuck these guys are talking about, or you like me, or you have no clue? Roberto Carrera, Correa. Love how competitive Sony and Microsoft are right now. Hope it keeps their products from becoming stale. Competition breeding innovation and whatnot. That is correct. Competition will. We're going to talk about something that I am really excited for, competitive-wise, here in a second. Let's see. Reading some of these. Hey, ACG and crew. Hope you're all doing good. I think we are. We're here, so it can't be great for these guys, but for me, it's good. Aiden says, YouTube quality is so much better than Twitch. The podcast never looks so good or bad. We're not high-definition faces. Let's just be honest, right?
Absolutely not.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
360
Dude,
right
The
here.
best porn stars in the world, I've seen 4K, and I'm like, your face ain't ready, man.
You don't need high definition.
No. It's and makeup artist.
even-
One of my friends is
Yeah.
a Disney makeup artist, and she was like, 4K is the worst thing that's ever happened.
Oh, absolutely.
They all believe that. They're like, it is the worst thing that's ever. It is impossible to do your job right now. Like, it is so difficult that's why they're digitalizing makeup, not just faces to make them older or younger. They're digitalizing like mascaras and shit because they're just like, it's too hard for the person to do the lighting just right and get everything just right. And we're not even trying to get it just right here. I mean,
Yeah, go
New
to
World-
YouTube settings and turn us down to 240p.
240p postage stamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Your
what I was saying.
imagination will fill us up much better than reality. will
Trust
look.
me, yeah. We're the Life is Strange as well. We're episodic. You need that space away from us each Friday showing up. So you're like, was it as bad as last Friday? And then you show up and you're like, yeah, it was exactly as bad. Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say my beard is actually CGI at the moment.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, the
Can you imagine?
Zoom
Like,
has that, right?
with legs behind a little
Zoom
bit.
doesn't Zoom have Zoom has eyebrows,
It
doesn't it?
does. Yeah, it does have stuff like that.
My
It's
God.
crazy. It's crazy. What else do we got for news before we move into the Sony event? Or is that it?
I think that's about it. Outside of Tales of Arise, which you reviewed, that came out this week.
You know what? I'll do that now because in side chat and random, it'll probably go off the wall. So let me give my final thoughts on Tales of Arise without spoils. But like, because I did do a review in progress and I told people I was moving to YouTube for this reason. The real lie was I finally was able to stream back on YouTube. And that was why I came back. But I lied and said it was all because of this.
Well, it's a confluence of factors.
That's what I'll say.
It's a
And
confluence.
what Johnny said. That's exactly it. Johnny said exactly what I was thinking.
Done. Shh.
So,
Yep.
Tales of Arise is awesome. Awesome. The combat is probably the best combat in that kind of game I've played in fucking years. It is complex. It is like a little bit clunky at times. They need 6 face buttons extra, maybe. It's at times they're like hold A or tap A or double tap A, and that just, fucking jumps for each different character. You're like, fuck, really? There's a lot of tutorials in that first like hour of that game. And I sort of dig that, man. The story was pretty cool. I don't like Tales games, man. Tales games they're boring. They just aren't fun. But this one, that combat makes up for it. And the story's pretty good. I enjoyed the story. I would say this is the best story of the Tales games I've played. I did have the controller issue, as somebody said, and it sounds like Reg was saying, make sure you're not, if you're watching, make sure you're not in the Steam beta.
Yeah, that's the
because
biggest one.
that sounds like the biggest one, and that could honestly, I believe I'm not, but I will definitely go back and check. But I want to talk to Reg because Reg has put in how many hours in Tales?
Not a lot yet. I was mostly playing Pathfinder. So in Tales, I have 2 hours maybe. So just at the beginning.
Ross says, I bought Tales of Arise after your review. Well spent, or money well spent. Thanks again. You bet, man. Anybody here doing Tales besides me and Reg?
So I watched the demo played by a friend, and I just
Not my
can't. I did watch a review as well.
On second thought,
I've never seen
What are
one
you
of
trying
your
to pull?
reviews.
You're trying to
He
catch
has
me
been
here on some.
disconnected. Yeah.
No,
You
continue.
fuck.
Continue. what were you saying?
Did
Sorry.
watch your review, and you mentioned this problem, but watching the demo for me, it's just a deal breaker how much they talk in
Oh my
fights.
God! They won't shut up.
oh man.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a setting to turn it off or turn it down.
You can only
like-
turn off all voices.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
combat.
for me, I just can't. I'm a very audio guy, so I get bothered by that stuff.
I get it. I think you're absolutely fair because you have to listen to it. If you were watching a UFC and the guy, like I said in the review, it was just like
Yeah.
spin kick,
Spin kick.
spin kick, you'd be like, "What's fucking wrong with you?" They say it. They don't just say it once. They don't have
Every
a
move
cool
is
it.
announced of all the
Every-
characters. Yep.
Oh, dude, and you're just watching it going like, it's got to stop at some point, right?
Yeah.
And it never stops.
You know what's funny, dude? I was watching that gameplay, and at one point they were saying something actually useful. Like, for example, you needed to,
Can't hear it, though.
You can hear it. It's like, you have to go behind, hit the shiny spot. That's useful information. That's being spoken over because the lady is announcing her magical kick. Like, bro.
Lucky honorable horseshoe, and you're like, what does that
you go.
even mean? What
Dude,
does,
I
I
think
mean,
that video
come on.
of it's like that video of the fucking LARPer is just like, lightning bolt, lightning bolt,
Yeah,
lightning
that
bolt.
is-
Fucking,
that is.
Yeah, yeah.
that is exact, dude. It's so crazy. And then you get what's her name, dude? I've spaced on her name. The chick I hate, but she's so condescending. She's so acerbic. She's so cynical. She never gets better. So most of the time you're like, oh, there's a reason, and they give her a reason, but it's the dumb. Man, dude, I'm just like when she was talking, I was like, please shut the fuck up, man, because I knew she was gonna. Anything he said, he's like, hey, good job, fuck you. Okay. And then a little bit later, hey, thanks for saving my life. Fuck you. And you're just like, oh my God, even in movies, it doesn't stay that long. Like it overstayed its welcome by such a tremendous amount. It was just uncomfortable, man. And it felt like really amateurish writing compared to everybody else, which had everybody else actually had some, not character growth. Main character did, but and then somebody just said graphics are crazy. I don't know if you agree, Reg. I think they are. I think the graphics in Tales of Arise are really good.
It looks great.
It looks
That's
good,
fine.
but there's a lot of popping.
a lot.
Like
And
a lot.
And is that like a weird cell-shaded sharpening filter going on? Or was it just on my... There's something like almost an edge to everything. That even with the
I
AI
think they
tool,
have
the
like
AI tool.
an overlay effect in there that has maybe a comic outline to everything.
Oh.
Yeah, but I gotta say, guys, Tales of Arise, I'm not a big fan, so you may not listen to me. And if that's the way it is, I'm saying it's good, so then you won't get it, and that's on you because you won't be enjoying a good game. If you know that I don't like those games and now I'm enjoying it, there should be more of a reason for you to jump in.
Yeah.
It's well
That's
worth
high
the
praise.
How'd you feel with the keyboard controls? Because I know, like for
money. I
me,
had
I
to deal
watched.
with it.
You had to, okay. Because I watched your review. That's the only thing holding me back. Is like this style.
Oh,
I
it
just
was rough. It was
prefer having the controller, right? So
Yep.
that was. But now that hearing there may be a fix for that.
Yeah, Reg was
yeah,
using
you
controller.
can get the controller to work,
Okay,
but it
okay.
is a widespread issue that it doesn't work out of the box. I did look at the Steam reviews; they were sitting at mixed, with most of the negative complaining about their controller not working.
Controller. Okay.
And it's a
Figures.
bitch because there's one move where the tutorial screwed up, by the way, and it says hold A on a keyboard. It would be A or E, R, and F to do this thing. And I was holding it for like an hour going like, what the fuck? And then I read it again and it is what it says, but it actually means separately. Hold each one separately. And if it had been a controller, I would have
Right.
looked at the controller and
Yeah.
said, that's physically impossible. So this can't be what they said. But because it was the keyboard, I was like, all right, I guess that's what I have to do. And yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed it. That should tell you something.
That's
Yeah,
a lot, for sure.
one issue with the controller is they are using the Steam controller API, which very few games are using.
Okay.
Usually, like you start up a game and it natively just supports Xbox controller. Like you don't have to bother about anything. But in this, you have to make sure that Steam recognizes your controller, that it's enabled to use your controller, and you have to, I think, also load the controller mapping for the game, and then it will work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of steps. You can jump through.
And then we'll finish this up on Pathfinder, because I did forget.
Yes,
I liked it, but these guys have now played it. So go ahead. Reg and Silver played it. Johnny?
Yeah.
I've played 2-3 hours of it.
Okay, Doom, have you played it?
I have not, bro. I sometimes with there's so many customization options, and hearing people
Analysis paralysis kind of thing.
Jesus Christ. Exactly that. I think it looks interesting. I love that style of game, but it just, for me, I think about it, I'm like, okay, I've got like an hour to jump on my PC, and then I'm like, fuck, is this really? Yeah. So
okay. And Dom, have you played it?
No, it's my next big time investment. I'm still stuck in the 90s with Baldur's Gate 2, so I'm looking forward to
Nothing wrong
this.
with that. All right, so Silver hasn't got a chance to talk as much. Silver, tell us how much you love Pathfinder and how there are no issues. I've been reading your posts.
And unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah, you're muted.
Give me a sec. Yeah.
And that's what Silver thinks of the game. Moving on. No, I'm just joking. Go ahead, Silver.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot to like here. I really appreciate the ambition of the game. This is probably by far the most ambitious CRPG I've played. It is also by far the buggiest. My experience of the game is that it was not in what I would call a release state. There are parts of the game that are fundamentally broken. There are feats that you select for your character that don't get unlocked. You don't get the abilities that they're supposed to give you. Like, the abilities just don't show up in your character's ability window or even on their character sheet afterwards. Like, I chose a mythic ability called like battle meditation, and it's just bugged.
Hang on. I'm not trying to interrupt you. Musaku, Billy, I don't know if you guys remember, Billy's been on the podcast about 6 or 7 times. Billy just dropped a $49.99 super chat.
Damn, girl.
Yeah. Damn, girl.
Damn, girl.
Billy right now is just now getting to Johnny going, you son of a bitch. But Billy is awesome. He's been on the channel multiple times, loves games, love having him on. I appreciate you with the super chat, and I hope your musical career is good. He actually is a very sizable musical star. He's got a huge, not sizable, he's not big. I'm saying his following is big. Very, very cool. Can't understand single thing he's saying because it's in Spanish, but the beats is good. My wife is like, yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm like, I trust her. He's awesome. He's shown up 6 or 7 times. So yeah, thank you very much. Go ahead, Silver. I'm sorry. That was worth stopping.
No, that's completely fair. That is worth stopping for. Yeah, no, it's like there are parts of the game that I'm playing the Cavalier class, which is a new class introduced for this one, and it's bugged. Like, it's broken, elements of it. You have to use the charge ability extensively. The charge ability sometimes won't work, sometimes it will work. There's no consistency there. Sometimes your character will start the charge and then just stop. You're mounted, you get a mount as a Cavalier, so you get to ride around like a horse or a different animal if you're a different type of character. And it's bugged. Like, you will frequently get stuck. The reason I most often get stuck is when I try and pick stuff. My character tries and pick stuff up from the ground. He'll just freeze. Will be unable to move because he'll be unable to actually pick it up. So I have to dismount him and then get him to pick it up and then mount him again. And it's just, there are all these really weird issues, like the way you transition with your character and your mount between areas. Also, like your mount is kind of this party member. Like, if you go to like the party member screen, your mount is part of your party. And I actually fought initially that he took up like a party slot in my party,
companion
slot in my party.
It's so messed up.
And it was only afterwards that I learned that no, I have to like deselect him and leave my mount at home and then replace him with a companion to get like the full companion roster, and my mount will still join me. And that's completely counterintuitive in the interface. And it's just issue after issue of all these things that sort of are compounded when you switch between real-time combat and the turn-based combat. The turn-based combat in the game is also extremely buggy. Like there are times when it'll skip turns for no reason. You will queue up actions that won't get executed. It's a bit of a mess. The crusade management part I also found to be not great. It could have potential if they expand on it with future patches, but even as it is in terms of design, it lacks serious depth because you don't get any information. That is the main criticism I have with the game. Is as an RPG, I really, really miss flavor text. Like if you go to I really love the character creator. The character creator really allows you to go in depth with the kind of character you want to make. And yeah, there's a lot of overlap in terms of skills and classes that are basically the same, but I don't mind that. You can give your own flavor to exactly the type of character you like, and I really appreciate that. But there's no information there. The only time you get any flavor text is when you go to pick whichever deity you want to worship. But if you go to like your character background, it gives you like regional backgrounds, like Eldori Swordsman. All it gives you is like what feats and what skill points you get for choosing Eldori Swordsman. It doesn't tell you what is an Eldori Swordsman, what is the Eldori region, why are these skills important to an Eldori Swordsman. And when you go and pick a weapon, or something like 20 or 30 weapons in the game, so if you're a fighter and you pick like a weapon to focus your skills on, you have no information about which weapons are useful to this class, which weapons are useful to that class. I played the Cavalier, so I figured a spear would be good. But then I learned later on that I should actually have picked the long spear. There are 3 different kinds of spears in the game: short spear, spear, and long spear. Then I should actually have picked the long spear for optimized damage on my charges. And so I had to respec my character into long spear rather than spear. And the game just doesn't provide any of this information. It doesn't provide you any flavor text for the weapons, and sadly it doesn't for the enemies either, where I've heard that in the beta there was actually flavor text for enemies when you went to inspect them and stuff, like background information and stuff that you could read if you wanted to. Where if you play a CRPG like Pillars of Eternity, it's packed with flavor text to give the world context and feeling. It feels a lot in Pathfinder like they're just assuming that you know the setting, that you know everything already going in. And I think that that's to the detriment of the game. And that is probably, even with all the bugs and stuff, that is my biggest criticism of it. But I'm enjoying it enough to still be playing it, to not aborting it and wait for them to fix a lot of it and to still go for my playthrough. Though I do also hear from a lot of people that a lot of the sort of mythic choices are like Lich and even Angel, I hear, are broken towards the end game.
Brian Irwin, first time here, nothing against Misaku, but I figured I'd match his super chat. Plus, yes, they'll probably mention it in the stream. We will. Thank you very much. Thank you for being the first time here. You just got to hear Silver is apparently loving Pathfinder and talking about all of the stuff.
He's a discerning customer.
I'm sure there's a giant but that's coming in where he's going to say,
he already
but.
said he did like it, or he's liking it enough to play it.
I mean,
the problem is
it's fun. It's fundamentally fun when the combat is flowing nicely, but the combat also runs into pacing issues. Like you mentioned in the podcast that you had not the podcast, but your review that you had that really
Thanks
lengthy
for watching
battle.
it, Silver.
Like you had that really lengthy battle. I had that took me.
Bro,
like,
I watched your.
I know. I'm
Get
teasing
out of
you.
here.
I'm teasing you. Anyway,
that battle took me like 6 hours to get through that siege and that citadel.
It's fucking
it was just
ridiculous.
Going battle.
It's ridiculous.
And it was so ridiculous that I got so tired of it that I actually just turned the difficulty all the way down and just stopped caring at that point.
Cheesed it. Yeah.
Dude,
because
it's so...
it was just enemy after enemy after enemy after enemy after enemy after enemy, and a lot of them had really high armor classes.
And then you're inside and outside, and
yes,
no.
And
I do want to say something so that people understand. The game is incredibly complex, and so if somebody else has said they've made it all the way through without any bugs, I don't know if that's true because Pathfinder has so much math. There's a chance it's called Mathfinder for a reason. So there's probably somebody, you probably did get some, but ignoring all that, the complexity means there are times where, somebody will play it and not have as many issues. I definitely had more bugs than I think anybody else I have talked to who reviewed it, where I was just like, this has got a lot of bugs. I still liked it, but I'm like, this has got a lot of bugs. But Silver's is more reflective of mine, not as many as his, because I had my animals with me. I didn't ride them as much. Right. I rode them, but I ended up just, having them beside me. That.
It's sort of indicative of like the only zone in the game where I can't have where my mount isn't with me, which is also sort of funny. It's funny when I like wake up at an inn and my horse is like standing in the corner of the room, just silently watching me.
That's what I want to do. Exactly. Well, so keep it moving though.
But like when I move to like the Citadel, and my character's alone, it will still show the icon for my mount moving, even though I'm only moving my character. So my mount will still be there, like invisibly.
I had forgot to ask Sit. You probably won't play this, right, Sleeve? This is
I won't play it, but I have been kind of vicariously playing it through Reg. So, like, he messages me pretty much every day, and lately it's just been screenshots of the fucking hilarious dialogue from certain characters. So I'm getting kind of the narrative strands and stuff without all the stress of playing it, clearly. And all
gotcha.
The
I just wanted to make sure everybody got to give it if they had played it. So, Reg, what are your thoughts?
So I played it about 60 hours so far. It feels like narratively I'm maybe at half point, possibly. So there's a lot of meat to it. I also ran into a lot of bugs, like Silver has said, but I don't think they lessened my experience as much as it sounds it did his. I'm still enjoying the game a lot, and I've been pretty much addicted to it since starting it. But yeah, I had one big bug that I thought was a game-ending bug for me. Like there was a cutscene where you have to go to, and I just couldn't leave the area. There was no marker for me to leave the area.
Oh,
nothing.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha. What'd you do?
And I was trying for like 5 hours to get around that bug. Like I was even loading a save game that was 4 hours prior and getting back to that position, etc. Till someone on the Steam forums told me the workaround was watch the cutscene, save the game, load the game again. It's there.
5 hours for one bug. That is some serious commitment.
Here's the thing, though.
Yes.
I also did that.
That's how much I enjoy the game overall.
I talked about that in my review. I didn't have that bug, but I had the exact same issue where something had to be reloaded, and that was a key. It said, this door needs a key, and I'm like, I don't have a key. And I spent 3.5 hours looking for a key, and
there you go.
The inventory was up when I got up, and I went and I got my food, and I came back, and the key is now magically in my inventory. And so it was like inventory leg, which I've never seen before. It's like there's so much going on. The game is like writing deferred writes like a SSD or something. It's like, we'll get to that.
I think sometimes some scripts in the game just break. Like I had it like a couple times now, 5 times, 6 times, where I cannot leave an area again. And where also the escape button on the keyboard stops working. Like the menu doesn't open up and again. I have to close the game, relaunch the game, working again.
That did happen to me, where the escape button stopped working too.
So there are still a lot of bugs in it. They are patching it. So I think today they released the latest patch, which has pretty lengthy patch notes. Some of the issues we've mentioned today have been potentially resolved by that patch. While others are still work in progress.
So Dom, in another 20, 30 years, you can play this all patched up.
Maybe for my 40th birthday, who knows? So,
we don't have to like dive into this too much, but I wonder. I know these days it's kind of like a hot topic with the bus. I'm hearing you guys say this. Is there's a lot of little issues here and there with it, but it makes me think of like, I don't know if you guys have heard with like, I don't know if it's the FDA or whatever the equivalent of that would be in Europe, but when like a manufacturer makes like a chocolate bar or something, like it's acceptable for like this
Right.
percentage of like shit to be like bug parts and weird shit like that. I wonder if it's the same with like QA with these
Yeah,
companies,
it is.
where it's like, okay, so there's like an acceptable margin.
There's
of,
a
like, how they-
certification that
Okay.
goes on consoles, in fact. So consoles
Okay.
have full certification. PC games, not so much. But they do need to run, and Steam can remove them if they wanted. But I'm going to tell you what I think a lot of people... I'm going to be honest, man. I was seeing reviews pop for this, not talking about performance and not talking about bugs. And I was like, then you didn't play on anything above story difficulty. And the reason why I can tell you that's for sure is because the enemy number increases if you start turning those some of the options up, and when you do, then your FPS gets hit. And I saw people being like, solid, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're for sure not, because on multiple computers, I've talked to people who's like, if you put it on medium or high, you will get FPS drops just because of the way the game works. You absolutely did not. And you saw a bunch of people who they're just not testing games. Pathfinder, of all the games in the world, has to be tested by the reviewer. Like, you got to spend some time. That game, I was sitting there for hours going like, okay, so does this plus work? Now, the math I got worked. I am sort of aware of how Pathfinder works, but Pathfinder is really complex anyway. So some bugs that some people think they're getting may not be. Some overlaps, but that's because the game doesn't tell you sometimes when something overlaps. I did like that this game tells you when you click on a skill, it'll say available also to Karak and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
That needs to happen in every game. And in fact, there was another game I talked about. Star Rangers or whatever, that game I was talking about on mobile. It does that. Where you click on it, it tells you everybody who's got the skill. It's such a nice feeling to go, okay, I don't need to buy this skin. But moving on from there, because we got to move on. We're already a little late. We're going to go to the So that was Pathfinder. Works awesome, no bugs. Definitely get it. Let's go. I like it. Just a very quiet. All right. So Sony Event. Let's just go round robin. Has everybody seen this? Has anybody not seen the Sony Event?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yes, you haven't?
I haven't.
Okay, you haven't. So we'll go to you last once you hear everybody. So, Sleeve, you haven't got a chance to really dive in. What did you think of the Sony Event? We'll talk about the best games in a bit, but like overall, what you saw.
Well, I think since they started the State of Plays, this is easily the best one they've done. It felt like an E3 event more than it did the ones we've seen before, with a few games and occasionally a big hitter at the end. This had some surprises that I wasn't expecting. A lot of stuff that we thought was going to kind of appear. Just seeing Alan Wake, man, again, it's fucking awesome. I love that game so much.
100%.
Just to see the remaster was great. I think it ended really strongly. The first party stuff was great, knocked it out the park, although a lot of it was teaser-ish. I would have liked to have seen actual gameplay of some form for Star Wars, but it clearly isn't in that state right now, I would imagine. Aspyr was quite a small mobile studio, only really known for like porting stuff to mobile, including KOTOR. But KOTOR is like one of my favorite games of all time. It might very well be at the very top of the list, but we'll get into that in a bit when we talk about specific games. But I thought Sony did really well. Nice. Do you know the only thing that I thought that's a shame a little bit? I thought Deathloop, because we've seen so many trailers now, it's been at so many events, it just kind of got swallowed up by everything else in the middle, and we were just like, Deathloop. So I think that was a bit of a shame. But there were some nice surprises and seemed like a good quality level overall. So I thought it was great, pretty great.
Dom?
Okay. So I absolutely loved it. It was predictable and it was safe, but it still blew me away. It was wonderful. I loved all the titles. I'm thoroughly looking forward to Spider-Man 2. I think God of War. I mean, we'll talk about it into a bit, but yeah, it was good. It was safe and predictable, and it was exciting. There was a lot less chaff to the Wii versus Xbox, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I like that. And also, I really like the fact that for a long time that Sony's IP catalog has almost been a little bit meme-worthy. It's like, it's 3 years in, guys. We're going to expect a Spider-Man movie or something. They're now flexing all of it. We've seen Wolverine. We've got Spider-Man. And I'm hoping to see a lot more come into it. And it's going to be good. I had, for about 60% of that, I got the old tingles on the back of my neck, which is a pretty successful event for me. So thumbs up all round.
All right, Reg.
Did
you watch it, or did you just do the trailers?
No, I watched the full thing. I like the format for just trailer, and then the discussion at the end. So thumbs up for that one. But I thought it was very mixed. Like they threw in all the trailers they had and just clicked on shuffle. Like it had no arc to it.
Right.
That was I definitely was missing. Most of the games we already knew about in one form or another. I think Spider-Man 2 was probably the big standout for me. That's happening. Middling from me. Like I wasn't in love with the event.
Okay.
Did you miss Jeff Keighley?
No.
There wasn't
Johnny?
enough JRPGs for Reg. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Johnny?
I like the format. It feels like they respect your time a bit more than some of those other events where they had a bit of talking head in the middle, but it was very curtailed. And the content was good. For me, easily the standouts are seeing Wolverine, that it's being made. I'm super excited. I love the character. And then seeing Venom being a part of Spider-Man 2. It's also one of my favorite characters. So super excited about those. And it got me thinking, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man.
Oh, it's for sure co-op. Yeah.
Co-op, yeah.
Bro.
Co-op.
Spider Bros.
Spider Bra. Also, though, it's cross-platform, so we'll have to see if the PS4 does, or if they do some kind of tethering.
Oh, like that, yeah.
Between the generations.
Pretty rough, yeah. Silver hasn't got a chance to watch it, right? Is that what you were saying? So Doom?
No.
What about you?
I just watched the highlights. I didn't see the full show. But pretty much just echo what these gentlemen have said before. It's nice to see some of these bigger IPs. I also got the vibe that they're starting to let go of the PS4 a little bit and just move towards more heavily featuring the tech with the PS5 and some of these new titles. Of course, it's great to see the God of War gameplay. Spider-Man, great game. It'd be cool to check out that. I saw the highlights. I liked everything I saw. I think that, like a lot of the general consensus right now is Sony's been trailing a little bit behind Microsoft, especially with all the offerings they've had recently on Microsoft's end with Game Pass and everything like that. And the strength for me with Sony's always been, those exclusives, the IPs, with Horizon and The Last of Us and those titles. So, I'm excited.
Silver didn't get to see it, so I'll give mine. I think that it gave people a reason to buy a PS5 in 2025.
Absolutely.
Most of the games out in 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Wolverine, by the way, that was actually the trailer company. So there was no actual game. That's
no gameplay.
A trailer company is hired to make that. So You're talking that's out. And Spider-Man, who knows when that is? I'm really excited for Spider-Man. But what I saw, we already knew most of that. I also was really, really disappointed in one thing. I was happy with what I saw. It was pretty decent. The one thing that gutted me was you're still looking through the ancient, dirty, desiccated womb of a view in God of War. That FOV is like looking through a vagina. It is the worst FOV I've ever seen. It looks like you're slowly being birthed for 8 hours of game. That is a shit FOV. That's like 45. It is terrible. And we know, obviously, that that's cross-gen. That's not just PS5. And you can tell by looking at the animations, there was a lot of locations that were actually taken from God of War as well in there. And you could set, the exact same textures and stuff, which is cool. Corey Balrog's also not working on it at all. So that'll be interesting to see this new director who he's really happy about.
Eric Williams, I think he's called.
Yeah, to see. But I would say with COVID and stuff, you can add minimum a year, if not 2, to almost everything we saw, regardless of dates that we saw, which is fine. But I would say 2025, it would be a great time. Maybe 2024 if you get your Spider-Man 2.
Hey, by then you can get a PS4, PS5 Pro.
But by then you can get a PS, exactly. And
or just a plain PS5.
Hopefully. But it was cool to see. It was expected. There was nothing surprising other than KOTOR, because I thought it was a new KOTOR. It was pretty disappointing to see. So we knew about the remake. So the way she came out, I heard her voice. I legit thought 3. Like, I don't know why I thought 3. I probably shouldn't have thought 3. But when I saw it was a remake, I'm like, okay, still very cool. Also interesting that they're completely redoing the story. So it's almost like a reboot, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we also didn't see Malik, the other Sith. We just saw Revan, right? Yeah.
Just saw Revan, yeah. It's just Revan.
So I don't know, that, and it's not, I mean, it's the console exclusivity thing timed or whatever that may be. And we know PC for sure. So I'm not too worried about where it's coming and stuff like that. The GTA 5 thing was a ripoff.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That was really upsetting. Oh, did I call him Corey Balrog? Yeah, I did. Anyway, so that thing looks like a ripoff. Like, I don't get it. I don't even understand. It looked a little better, but it didn't look like Alan Wake. I thought Alan Wake looks better.
Are they charging full price for the PS5 version
of GTA 5? Dude, have they ever not charged full price? Anybody? I don't think it's ever not happened.
So
VR,
3 to 4 was a full price upgrade.
LA Noire,
VR
Files was full price, I believe. That was just 3 cases. If I could be incorrect, but I think that was full price. Yeah, it was ridiculous. They don't not charge full price. So, that was sort of a ripoff. But I agree with Reg. I was sitting in here with Mike Fury. I've called him Mick for 6 years, and he finally corrected me yesterday. But I go in here with Mike, and we both said the same thing. It was very mixed up in its delivery. For example, GT comes on, and this motherfucker shows up with a pipe organ. I don't know who the musician was, but the GT music starts, and he's like just hammering on a pipe organ. We're like, that's a different.
It's like Hans Zimmer.
They're trying to do that, eclectic. We're the highfalutin race car game, and then I'm like, I'm not feeling this. The music just didn't work. They were doing these pans. Then they showed the racing. They dropped to music. I think most people expect, hey, I'm all for an occasional pan flute, but come on, man. And they jumped into a little bit more music that I'd expect. Got to see that racing. That was cool. I think racing is hard to get into now because PC has just annihilated consoles. I mean, you have Forza on both, but you have other race sims that are so like they have the ability to be on these powerful platforms, and I think most people who do sim will probably want to do it there. Brian Irwin says Alan Wake is good the way it is. It's aged like wine. Wine that's spoiled, bro. I'm sorry, I just played Alan Wake. It's pretty raw now. I got to be brutally honest, man. So Absy played it 2 years ago on stream, and watching him on stream, I was like, oh, it's not so bad. And then a couple days ago, I actually put it on because I was going to do a new Nightmare run through, and it's aged. It's a little bit like Life is Strange. You think it looked better than it did, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I played it about a year ago, and the story holds up very well, but
absolutely.
The gameplay is a little rough with the camera and like
Alan's
the
got a bad
mechanics.
Back, bro. Alan's got a stoved up NFL footballer's back. Have you ever watched that dude try to run, man? He's like, he looks stoved up. He looks like there's a pin in his butt. He's just, they need to fix those animations. The Duracell battery. No, was it Duracell? Who did the battery for that game?
I think it was
Energizer. That shit needs to gazelle.
They need to up their game.
They need to update that shit. That shit's ancient. Batteries don't last for 3 seconds. Like, come on, man.
What was the other? What was the other product placement they did?
Verizon.
Nokia.
Was
it Nokia or
Verizon? Was it Verizon? Silver? Maybe it was Verizon, but they did that in the game. But anyway, the color, the lighting, I saw somebody put some side by sides. Primo, man. That looks awesome. I'm excited. Yeah. Like that Alan Wake is the shit. If you like I said in the thing, man, if you have to play Alan Wake on a fucking Game Boy, play it. It's worth it. It is a
100%
phenomenal game. And if you like horror, I mean, I get that some people like Japanese, but it is true, well done Stephen King-ish whatever horror.
Very Stephen King.
It's a little
translated.
It's a little easier to translate. Exactly. There's a little less of that. What the fuck? And a little bit more. Where is the story? And there was something about that. I mean, I still remember having my friends over and us just sitting there going like, "What is going to happen next on Alan Wake? Well, let's find out." Because it also faked the
next episode, next chapter.
Next on Alan Wake or whatever. yeah, that was cool to see. Didn't Remedy show something? Did Remedy show?
That's the only thing they've
That was the
shown.
only
That's the only thing they showed. Yeah.
Bayonetta. We saw Bayonetta. What? Right? There was Bayonetta.
No.
Or was it the other one, the
No.
Nier Maker?
No,
It was
the
Project
other
Eve,
shiny
Project
but
Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
variant.
Project Eve.
I thought that sort of looked fun.
I thought
Yeah.
so too.
it
I
did.
It didn't at first because they're walking, but once they did battle and she like and bounced off a couple, bullets, I was like, hey man, that actually looks, because I'm not a big fan. I don't need to see a character's ass all the time. Like I get some people like Bayonetta and sexy, but once you start playing the game, I want the game to be good. I don't care how pretty they are.
Right.
And that one was starting out in one way, and I was like, and then yeah, man, it was banging.
Yeah.
It looked good graphically too.
It
Maybe
did.
not next gen, but it looked good.
Unreal 4 for as well.
What'd you guys think of the hip hop magic using one? That it looked like Dragon's Dogma, then it looked like a Korean free to play, then it looked like Dragon's Dogma.
You mean Ghostwire?
No, it was like Dispossessed or Forspoken or
Forspoken. It starts off like Narnia. She's in a different world.
that game is
and it's
all over the place.
It's so many things.
Yeah.
Did Silver, have you seen this one, Forspoken, yet?
No.
So I think you'll be interested because at times it looks like terrible WB, but like the Arrow, which I love by the way, but those kind of that angst. But then it's actually got some really cool looking combat. I don't know. You'll have to check it out. But then the jumping looked terrible. Like they showed platforming and it was Sega Genesis level platforming. It was terrible
But
looking.
it was high speed platform.
But it was high speed. But I think you might like it, Silver, because the battles and the magic, that looked... There was something, maybe the desaturate. You know how Dragon's Dogma looks desaturated? Is that
Right.
that's sort of the way I think of it?
Yeah.
But, yeah. I think you should check out Forspoken. You may, maybe you won't. But it looked good and then
No,
bad.
definitely check it out.
I think the early trailers did it more justice than that one. It
I think
almost
so,
looked
too.
like it was just a post-alpha rendering. And you got a good gist of what's going on. As you say, the magic is Square developing, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it was very Square-esque. Is like, every ice crystal is this giant supernova coming out
That's
the
why.
ground.
Oh, thank you. That's why I was telling Silver. It was because the ice crystals. The moment these ice crystals come up, I'm like, it's Dragon's Dogma, man. Yeah.
Right.
You're right. Continue. Sorry, Dom.
But yeah. So, and the art studio is obviously a fan of, you say, a desaturated gold this time around for its. It looks really good. If you look at the earlier trailers, like the speed looks phenomenal. It looks like I don't know. It's almost how I envisioned like Harry Potter if he did like amphetamines all the time. It's just like it's got such great energy to it.
Yeah.
And also the only disappointment about that trailer was the fact that they did the dragons that they originally put in the game so much disjustice. It was like the previous one was like this big colossal dragon coming along. He's like, I'm gonna eat your soul, and she's like, oh my god. And this one is just like a hair and this fireborn, just like just didn't do it justice. So have a look at the full kind of range of trailers that there are, but I'm super excited for it, and I'm so impressed that they did it on Unreal 4 because the world is like huge and open and looks like there'll be a lot of expansive kind of running around. But as you say, the platforming was ridiculous, and at one point I thought, you've got all this beautiful flying zooming all around, and then all of a sudden she's got to jump on a bar and do a somersault to the next ledge.
Thank you. It's like Harry Potter not being able to start a fucking fire, and you're all, dude, what is happening right now? That's exactly what happened. You see them use. How many times have we seen that in superhero movies too, where a guy has ultimate power at one moment and then no power the next? And their power level's fucked. That game, that's what it was, actually. Thank you for mentioning that. The reason why it felt cluttered was because it felt like almost a different character, which might have to do with the skills. But it's like they couldn't do some stuff and could do other things almost in the same battle. And you were just like, I'm not getting what this game is trying to present to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But what is there looked like, except for her. I'm sorry. It's a hero story, by the way. I already know this. Chosen one, blah, blah, blah. You can't have a chosen one-lining during battles. You have to have the chosen one be like Harry Potter. You're a bad step kid. Nobody likes him. They're feeding refuse. He's fucking living under the steps. You can't have a superhero instantly. And that's the problem that game seems to have, is they're like, you may be the chosen one. And then instantly, they're like, sup, bitches, while they're pulling off moves. And it felt too, I'm trying to hit the millennials. And by the way, that's not a diss on millennials. I think they can smell that. I think we can all smell it. Whatever year you were born, you can smell the bullshit. If somebody tries to fake it that year, you're like, dude, I lived through that shit. You're wrong. Yeah. So I don't know. But
I completely agree with you. And I think it's only going to get worse because if you spotted at the beginning, they had the bracelet that was giving the one-line quips, which I'm sure is going to be donned as the millennial bracer, as it were. It's just
the dialogue was pretty some cheeseball ass type outings at the beginning. Yeah.
Is anybody else anything about Forspoken before we go to Spider-Man 2? Okay. Spider-Man 2 looked awesome.
Yes.
In CGI. We have no clue how to look, but I'm sure it'll look great because it's those guys. I want to know what their platform is so we know if it's 2-player. I want to know if there's tethering like State of Decay 2, which was disappointing. But I don't know, man. Venom. This is all I've wanted. This is what I
see.
Oh God, what? Wait, Silver, what? Because I don't know the superheroes. Silver knows all this because he looks like Tobey Maguire and is therefore sucked in Spider-Man's knowledge. No, go for it. What is there an issue with Venom being in there? We'll talk about Ghostwire, people.
There is, insofar as I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, as I've talked about.
Well, you played it
frequently.
Yeah, you played it.
So
in the
I couldn't
movies.
help but be But my problem with Venom is he has never been done well outside of the comics, I don't think. Either in video games or in movies or whatever. I don't think they've ever sort of gotten to the core of what sort of made his character in the comics interesting or compelling or cool to me, at any rate. But then again, even the comics have sort of struggled with that over the years quite a lot, I think. So
you didn't like what's his name as Venom, the actor? I didn't.
Tom Hardy. I thought
was that one
I thought
okay?
Hardy came close, but he was but that was my problem with that was less about Hardy than it was about like the movie itself, which didn't really, I think, execute on the whole Venom thing very well. Like in terms of what makes him interesting. So I'm pessimistic just because I've seen so many different portrayals of Venom go wrong for me that this will be different. But I am excited for Spider-Man 2 because I love the first Spider-Man game.
Doom, you like or have played the Spider-Man games?
I played the last one. I haven't played Miles Morales. I don't have a PS5. Thought it was fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited to see. It's a safe bet, Insomniac. It's really not expecting anything like fucking groundbreaking outside of the graphical fidelity and the gameplay mechanics and stuff like that.
So everything that makes a game.
Correct.
Okay. You just reviewed the game, just so you know. You just covered more than 90% of reviewers right there.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
You're on a book-based novel review podcast, dude. Yeah. So it's fine. Don't even worry about it.
I guess what I mean is that just I don't see them taking any like massive leap as far as like maybe just like a almost, hopefully not just like a reskin of the first one, but but
nice a true sequel where they just build on that. You don't want to change it too much, obviously. Yeah, people would be like, "What is this game?"
But I thought the first one was fantastic. A lot of fun.
Yeah, you should do Miles. I thought Miles was PS4 as well now, though. I could be wrong.
It is also PS4.
Yeah, so jump in there. Yeah.
Reg, did you get to talk about this at all? I know you're not as superhero-y as the rest of us, so if you don't have anything to add.
I'm looking forward to it insofar as I did very much enjoy the first Spider-Man game. Less so than Miles Morales, but yeah, a true sequel to the first one, for sure I'd play that.
All right, and Sleeve?
Yeah, man. First of all, if it is co-op, and if it is not, as you said, tethered like State of Decay is, and it does, cross-platform, if it's going to be like that, fucking brilliant. Venom, again, I'm not quite as au fait as Silver, but I don't know a lot of backstory, read a lot of comics, etc. And he's right, Venom is very difficult to get right. I thought it was interesting that it very much sounded like the narration could be Kraven the Hunter, and we just haven't seen Kraven in anything really, apart from animated here and there, and obviously the comics. So to see him as someone different and unique could be pretty damn good.
We lost Reg, and so now it's
it's
got Johnny and it's got Silver as Johnny and,
Oh.
and Doom as Silver. I'm leaving it. I think Reg is coming back. I think he had a computer issue. Continue. What were you saying? Sorry, Silver?
Just especially because I mean, Craven the Hunter has one of the most interesting like story arcs in Spider-Man, like old Spider-Man, where he actually buries Peter Parker alive, and Peter Parker has to sort of claw his way out.
Man, you got some shit
which is one of the darkest, which is one of the darkest moments of Spider-Man.
I'll check it out. I've not jumped into Spider-Man comics. I'm just getting into comics right now, but I'll be done with Batman in about 85 years. Oh wait, new news. Peter Bordeak. Thank you. He says no co-op. They confirmed in a PlayStation blog post. That
okay.
Man.
So maybe
Sucks.
between the two then.
To be honest, I'm actually happy about that
Shut up!
because
Shut up!
Spider-Man's always been a loner to me. It
Well,
just
what do you
wouldn't feel
think?
right.
Maybe switching, Silver?
Yeah.
Maybe Miles,
yeah.
maybe
Yeah, I mean, I think I already mentioned I'm not crazy about Miles Morales and Peter Parker being in the same world.
okay.
I think they should be separate.
different dimensions. Different,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't like there being two Spider-Man because it makes Spider-Man less unique.
Yeah, no, I get you, man.
Yeah.
I absolutely get that. Dom, what about you? I don't know if I already got to you on this one. We've had a lot of
So I'm a massive Spider-Man fanboy myself. I've got to say, right, for a you say about Venom not being portrayed well in video games, Kraven the Hunter like wins the award.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
He's like, and
the definition of camp in games.
yeah, he's a fantastic character, and he's got all this development and stuff. But he's so flamboyant. He just doesn't like in his attire and stuff with his big fluffy collar and whatnot.
Yeah.
He just doesn't quite know how. I just don't see him just like bursting onto the screen with something like this feather boa style mane and just like.
But if he
and
did,
a Russian accent. Yeah.
if he did, it would be the greatest. It would be if they did it right. Can you imagine how cool that'd be?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it would be cool. But as you said, I didn't know about the actual PS5 saying that there won't be multiplayer, but I can definitely, if they build on bigger city, more spaces, like areas thematic to the two different Spider-Mans and just giving me more of that beautiful momentum and swinging, I'm all for it. It's like, it's got a formula. You don't need to like make massive adjustments to it. Just give me more story and different ways to punch kick and do multiple airs.
Yeah, you don't do missionary style
question.
sex one time and then never again.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like it doesn't matter. It's like you can do it twice. It's okay, man. It'll still be fun. What were you gonna say, Silver?
Just I have a question for Dom. Does the city really need to be bigger?
That's what I was. Thank you. He just answered. That's exactly what. When you said that, it. Like,
okay. Well,
why bigger?
Okay. I mean, more diverse biomes. Then I don't know. And funny enough, you mentioned about portals because what was the other game that they Insomniacs just did with
Ratchet?
It was a big.
Ratchet.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I mean, it wouldn't be too far of a stretch of an imagination. I can really see them doing something funky with the PS5 because when they announced the PlayStation 5 originally, they were like, hey, check out what we can do with portals and no, snapping between different zones.
Sorry, but Ratchet was a lie.
Was it?
First, yeah, let me say something here. Eric, longtime fan, dropped the $10 super chat and basically throws a gauntlet down and says pineapple 100% belongs on pizza. Which I agree.
Yeah, that is.
I know.
I'm fine with that. Ham and pineapple, fine with it.
So, Johnny, I want Johnny to talk about this, and then we'll talk just for a second about the portal thing in Ratchet, but then we'll move on really quickly. Johnny, did you get a chance to talk about that? We've talked about it. Okay,
not yet. So, super quick. Already said Venom, exciting. But for me, it feels like the two Spider-Men kind of... they have redundancy in the sense that, they both have a girlfriend situation. They have like family stuff going on. It feels like for me, if both of them are going through those things, it doesn't all fit in a game. It's almost like
too much. Almost
you're trying to fit too much, yeah. Or so I think what they're gonna do is at some point, either Peter Parker or Miles are gonna like step aside, and for some reason they're gonna be called, conveniently to some other country or some other shit, and most of the action will be like one character.
So the thing about Ratchet I just want to point out is they were talking about all these, the teleporting and all that. Dude, that teleporting is nothing more than, and 99% of the time, it is just platforming. And then the one time at the starting when you go in and you know, at the starting of that game and you do all the different worlds, it only happens one other time. Like, that felt like a lie to me. And I like Ratchet. I love Ratchet. But I feel that the portal in Ratchet and Clank was...
It's a grapple hook.
Damn.
It's a grapple hook. That's...
I've not played it yet, and that's kind of deflated my...
It is, by the way. I'm not lying. There's a couple times where you'll change. There's one planet that I loved. You change to a different planet, but then you really realize, as another developer pointed out. So I'll just say this. Ignore me. Another developer was, and I did say this about the Medium as well, because the Medium tried this shit, where they're like, this is impossible to blah, 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 blah. No. And one of the other developers was like, absolutely not. That can be done on an old system. You have to make concessions for polygons and all that, but that's a skybox. Like, or you could fake it as a skybox. There's ways you could fake stuff. Admittedly, I still think it's awesome, and I think that technology is awesome, and they were able to do it easier on the PS5, if that makes sense. So on the PS4, maybe they could have, but it would have what kind of resources would that have taken? But it was we were sold a bit of a... I just feel I was sold down the river a little bit on that one. Yeah, because once you start playing it, you're like, And
it's pretty cool, but it's not...
It's not what we saw.
Yeah.
Exactly, if that makes sense. It's a little less... It's almost like seeing that movie where there's a huge, cool battle, and then in the trailer, and then in the movie, it's like 3 seconds, and you're like, all right, well, it was cool, but... We sort of been
or not in the movie at all. Those are the even better trailers.
Dude, I've seen that before. Or where they have two characters saying one-liners to each other, and you find out that they were talking to other people, and somebody just
Marvel does that all the time with
I know. So moving on from there, what else do we got for Sony?
Yeah. We haven't mentioned Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah. Dude, drop kicking ghosts with no heads.
Tripping balls. Yeah. Looks interesting.
Action, light horror, first person.
It's the Evil Within developer, right?
Yeah, Tango Gameworks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tango
absolutely loving it. I think we've gone from two gritty kind of Western themed more horrors into a beautiful Eastern horror with Kujikiri, which is the hand signs you see used in front of them. They're based on 8 power words, and it's ninjas with cool ghosts and just a beautiful Japanese Eastern themed horror. It so ticks so many boxes for me. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And there's a scene with the ghost in the Macintosh, and it's got this beautiful yellow hue to it. And it's standing in the rain with these 2 eyes, and it just stood out and really screamed to me. It was I'm very, very excited about this. My only thing, and I pray, is that generally, you see a lot of games, very good gun models, etc., used, and they're beautiful, etc., but you don't see amazing hand animations, and they always seem a little bit too slenderish or too short and stubby. So I pray to God that they've got that one right.
It's usually scaling with hands. Yeah, you can't quite get the scale right, so it's usually too small on screen.
We've come a long way since Lobster Claws, though.
We have.
True.
Where they looked like they were wearing snow mittens.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I thought it. I don't know. Somebody else can go. I thought it looked good. I'm not as into it as that, but when I saw it was the best trailer they've ever done for that game.
I thought it looked interesting, and it's different. Like Dom said, from Western horror. Horror is my thing, but it's very few and far between that you get Japanese horror now. Tango Works is really one of the only developers out there that make big horror games. So it's just the effects look pretty cool. Almost like the ghosts from Matrix Reloaded. I quite like the look of the ghosts and the tall man and stuff like that. It looks quite visually diverse. But hey, we'll see. As long as it's a little bit of a different flavor, which it seems to be. As Dom said again, as in opposition to the very gritty, grimy stuff we tend to get in Western games, should be good. Should be interesting at least.
Name banned again. $10 super chat. Pineapple on pizza is stupid. I should have a channel that doesn't even talk about games. It just talks about food on pizza. I bet you I would make more in super chat.
Just on pizza.
Thank you very much.
Would
Name
fucking
banned again.
listen to that.
Oh, dude, they would. I mean, when we talk about stupid stories, like the last time we talked about stupid stories and stuff, you always get the people who are pushy towards game content, and they're really like almost egotistical. They're like, you need to say exactly what I want you to say during your podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but then you also get those people who are like, when you do something like that, they're like, oh my God, that was awesome to have something, a little different. You never quite know who you're going to hit.
Just spices things up a bit.
Anybody else want to talk about Ghostwire Tokyo before we move on to the next one?
No, the aesthetic is very interesting. It mixes a bit.
Definitely.
If you guys played Neo, I know several of you have. Neo, you have like the yokai and those like monster kind of things from mythology and stuff. It seems they have that going on a bit, which is interesting. Besides that, we'll have to wait and see.
Justin, thank you very much for the super chat. $5. I appreciate it.
The color palette just like, sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Just like pops like crazy in that with the scheme they've used for that. I enjoyed the trailer. Same thing. I always like seeing, we have this massive proliferation of kind of like the rehashing, IPs and stuff. So anytime there's like a new kind of unique looking title, I'm always stoked to, at the very least, check it out. And
do you agree, Doom, that also this is the best trailer they've done for this game?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
It's so weird because it almost doesn't look like the same game to me. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know what it was for a little bit. Like I was like, which game is this? And then people in like my chat were like, oh, blah blah blah, it's this game, and I was like, oh, okay. But for whatever reason, I wasn't picking up on it, and I just what I saw looked cool. I mean, again, it also you never quite know how that's gonna is 8 hours of that gonna be cool?
Sure.
Is it gonna be a lot? Because we played games where an hour in, you're like,
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So, let's hope it's not that. Well, speaking of Tales of Arise, just so you guys know, an hour into that game, she still doesn't shut up. They keep talking. I need like an audio warning. It's like ASMR, anti-ASMR. What else do we got for Ghostwire? Was there anything else? The female lead left, right? Wasn't that the game where the female lead took over? And then and the producer said, I'm leaving this company. She's in charge, but then she left. Isn't that Ghostwire Tokyo? I feel like it is.
Story surrounding it.
Okay.
No, I haven't heard that.
Because there was some back and forth on that game. What else do we got for games? Johnny, is there any?
There was one other that we haven't mentioned that it's a bit weird. I don't know why we're not talking about it. Maybe we're not excited, but Guardians of the Galaxy. Are you guys just like not very excited at all?
Can Square save Marvel is the question with that game.
Is it just another like squad-based shooter type?
No, it's supposed to be single player. You just play Star-Lord. I think the thing for me with that is they've got it's this uncanny valley thing, isn't it? Now with a lot of this Marvel stuff, that a lot of the games we see, they look almost like the characters are generic versions of the characters we expect them to. So they never get the voice actors, the ones in the cinematic universe. There's never a likeness there. And so it seems a bit off. And Star-Lord, to me in particular, that model doesn't look right. But then I'm not familiar with the comics for Guardians. On top of that, it kind of looks like they're taking every asset they could from the Avengers game and gone, single player game. And it was really underwhelming for me. That's the one game. Well, there's a couple that were underwhelming, but I think that one in particular, I was just like, not too concerned by. I mean, it might be good.
Okay.
Might be good. It might have some good character systems. It might have some unique weaponry. The graphics look pretty good. The effects look pretty good, but I'm just
Eric and Name Band again are going back and forth in super chats. Now Eric says, I grabbed Name Band again and insert a large pineapple up his rear and upside down.
Whoa!
Like a choose your own adventure.
That's gonna hurt.
I was gonna pretend like I had Frozen.
Yeah.
I was gonna start. First of all, there's always a different Tobey Maguire / Andrew Garfield / whatever his name is who did this other Spider-Man, right? There's always a different, and I like that. But they picked the motherfucking douchiest douchebag ever, and that dude is going to sink that game. That character is such a douche. The moment he talked, I'm like,
Star-Lord?
Star-Lord. It is the worst rendition. Remember, there's multiple renditions of one other character, Deadpool. There's like the merc with the mouth, and then there's another couple versions of him. And people like some versions, don't like others, and games might fit a particular character.
Yeah,
Fuck
it's
you,
rough.
man. The moment he talked, I'm like, and why does Square deserve to save Marvel? Like, I heard somebody say, like, can they save it? Square's the one who sunk it. Like, what the fuck? You don't
With
ask
Avengers.
the fucking sub that sunk your ship to save you too. Like, dude, I would if I were them, I would never have used them. Like, look at Insomniac, Wolverine. That makes sense. Insomniac, I think we can all agree, whether you like the games or not, Insomniac's an ace studio and hasn't really, other than Fuse, I think, years and years ago. I reviewed a game by them that was a third-person shooter, and it wasn't good.
They've got a really high quality.
They've got a really high quality bar. Yeah. And you see this game and this douche and the worst writing. There was not one funny moment in that entire trailer. And it's like a bad B comedy where there's
the
nothing
writing
fun.
felt really flat, didn't it?
Exactly.
Really,
Dude, Rocket Raccoon had that joke at the end, and you're just like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, it didn't land. Land.
That's literally all I fucking remember from the announcement trailer for this was just
so
how
too bad.
flat the voice acting and the.
I like Guardians too, so that's why I'm sad.
I do too.
I like Guardians.
I love the two films. Really like the two films.
Same
First
here.
one in particular.
I thought you said the two Kims, and I'm like, what?
Two Kims. Yeah.
That's why
Reg,
I thought it was a bad sign. No, I just thought it was a bad sign we weren't talking about it because we all kind of like Guardians in general.
I would have forgot.
But just no mention. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have forgot. Reg, any thoughts on Guardians?
I mean, I'm not into the comics at all. So to me, it didn't look as bad as it seemed to look to you guys.
Gotcha. A one game Reg is like okay with for all.
Yeah, it looked
graphically it looked good.
Me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was gonna say to me it looked graphically rough.
Oh, dude, what? No, dude, that game. That's the only thing that game had going for it. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm a total 180 on everything for that one.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see, right?
Reg Unleashed.
Yeah. Oh, what else do we got?
We got Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Okay, so what the fuck is this? Is it Borderlands just with new, like they've added different gameplay mechanics? It looks like a D&D type. I mean, what are we looking at here? Because I watched that trailer and they were talking about like character sheets, and then there's the first person gameplay, and then there's the third person gameplay. So does anyone know?
That's a standalone spin-off title from Borderlands.
Okay.
Yeah, so there were some missions in Borderlands that were based around Tiny Tina and her like adventurous imagination, and this is just a complete expansion on of that.
Yeah, it was a whole DLC around that idea.
So is
where
this
she was running a D&D game.
Is this okay? Got you. Okay, so is this a full game? Like they've just expanded on this?
This
idea?
is a $60 full.
Gotcha.
Game.
Yeah. Name Band again says stick the pizza wherever you want, just don't put it on the or stick the pineapple wherever you want, just don't put it on the pizza. Stick the pizza wherever you want.
I mean, I feel like
this is heating
you're giving more license than you realize, Name Band again, because he was talking about your rear and the pineapple.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So the Tina thing was like all of the event. It felt all over the place. It was really hard to identify what that game was trying to go with.
Exactly.
And I figured that's what Doom was trying to say is I came out of it and I was like, it looks good graphically, man. There were parts, but the guns, I know this sounds dumb, but there was like no recoil on a couple of the guns. They were like, gang, gang, gang. I was all, oh man. Not that I have to have it flying everywhere, but if you're trying to show something, show it, especially you want a trailer to be visceral, and that really wasn't. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It just looked all over the place. I couldn't even when I left, I was like, is it third person? Is it like, are they also going to be role playing and there'll be something there? Like I couldn't really.
That's what I got from it. Like introducing more of those like role playing elements. That could be cool. Maybe roll for some stats.
I worry a little bit about the possible writing, because the writing in 3, it's always been puerile. It's always been puerile, but 3 was the main enemies were antagonists were really poor. The general feel I didn't think was great.
I feel
gameplay was fine, typical Borderlands, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, at this point, I feel like Borderlands almost has this expected tropey goodness to it. Like what they're not selling the story; they're selling the ARPG, massive loot, run around, shoot everything, and play with your friends formula.
Yeah, silly, stupid characters.
As long as the story is palatable, at the end of the day, people want to run around and just get loot and shiny items and watch the big flary effects and
guns that fire frogs, whatever the hell.
Yeah. 4 characters. I do think in terms of the story, so we saw like the D&D elements, but I feel it's going to be she tells what she's done and then you go off and play that story, or there's a room similar to how Borderlands 3 worked. But Yeah, I agree. The guns did look a little bit off, considering when they went into Borderlands 3, they bragged that they had like 8 billion different versions of gun. And they also had the whole comedic, look, this gun has legs. And there was none of that. It's kind of like, they're just like, well, you remember Borderlands 3 was really good? This will be really good too. So why don't you buy it when it comes out? And we'll just have to wait and see, I think, for more gameplay trailers to really make a full assessment. But they definitely have dropped the bar in terms of like, buy our thing now.
Speaking of a trailer and weird assessments, dude, Wolverine. Like, I was so happy to see the name. First, I thought it, just so you guys know, I actually thought it was Deadpool. I thought it was going to be a joke.
Oh,
I thought the guy in the head, I thought when they zoomed in, it was going to look gruff and they were going to pan and it was going to be Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. And I was like, that would have been the most killer IP of all time if they could figure out a way to like do it all at once. Wolverine's also cool. Great. Can't beat Insomniac doing it, but somebody was mentioning like a lot of remakes and a lot of expected stuff. Even Wolverine was like, makes sense. Does that make sense? As a like, I came out of this event going, that made sense. You know, oh yeah, and somebody just said Uncharted PC. That was great, made sense.
Yeah,
and we knew about that one actually. Well, how do we say that?
Kind of leaked, yeah.
Yeah, with Ghost of Tsushima, which did not get shown on PC, which I would have been cool, but I don't think they want to do that with the DLC on the brand new island. They probably.
I think it's still too new. Same with God of War.
Yeah,
But
I don't know about you guys.
year,
I mean, Uncharted at 120 FPS or whatever. You know, like I'll play it again. And I loved what was the
Lost Legacy?
Yeah. I really felt Lost Legacy is Lost. It's one of those games that people did like, they might have liked, but you don't hear it talked about as much. And I actually find that game to be one of the better because it's a little more contained. I think sometimes the contained ones are better. Sometimes
they're more focused, certainly.
Yeah. Sometimes you can be like, all right, seriously, Nate, get a move on. What other ones? Is that about it?
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you talked about the KOTOR remake much, which you guys, I imagine, are excited for.
I am, but rewrote, so I don't know.
How much are they going to rewrite it? What are the original they're going to keep? Is it still going to have that semi-turn-based that you can employ? Because I really like
thank you. That's actually what I was bringing up. No way. They're probably not. And I want that. I want the I actually like the unique style of combat. Yeah,
it's part of the DNA of that game, And in my eye, what they'll do is they'll completely remove that, so it'll be completely real time. So you'll have that little bit of DNA stripped away. I mean, I'm sure it'll look great, but what are they going to rewrite? Because I really do like most of the quests in that game. They're so good. The side quests are awesome. The places
when you save. Well, I mean, can you spoil a 25-year-old game that's being remade?
Nah.
But like when you're underwater on Manan's my favorite planet of all time in a game. Like I did a video where I just talk about Manan when I first started the channel because I love that planet. Michael, Tannen says, thanks ACG, you saved me a hell of a lot of money these last 6 years. Rock on, $50 super chat. Thank you very much. Hopefully I've saved him that much in 6 years. Or maybe I've caused you to buy games that you weren't expecting. I've cost you money and a marriage. Who knows? I apologize either way. Apologies, you have to listen to me. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. And so do these guys. Because they get paid too. That's where the money's coming from. By the way, I forgot to tell these guys I'm not going to pay them if we don't get super chats. So you better start.
Better more super chats.
Yeah, that's so rude.
Super chats.
That's so raw.
Yeah.
Any other new stuff at all?
I just got a little downer on Spider-Man 2 because going by their blog post, it's a single-player title.
Oh yeah, we mentioned it before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when you left, I think. Reg,
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. We thought you got attacked by a hornet again. We were like, oh shit.
No.
Yeah, dude. It's a downer. That's a Debbie Downer right there. That's going to be single player. But we were saying, Reg, that we think they'll switch out characters, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you can switch out or something. And then I think it was Dom who was saying maybe they do portals like Ratchet where it's different dimensions, which would be cool. That would be cool.
Someone in chat made a good point, actually. They said perhaps you'll end up with Miles and Peter fighting each other because of Venom. That could happen, I guess, if one of them has if one gets a symbiote suit and becomes Venom for a bit. I guess you could see that, maybe.
That's a lot to ask.
Yes, a lot. It's a lot.
of like if they did that,
is.
that would be crazy. That is a lot to ask, but that would be cool to see. I just don't think we'll see that. That would be awesome. New ones they did 15 minutes it felt like, but it was only probably 3 of Deathloop, and then they showed Kina, not Kina. I keep calling it Kina, but the Hawaiian
Chisha or something.
Oh,
that was
Something like
another one that
Chia.
felt all over the place.
Chia?
Yeah, and like Hawaiian,
Yeah,
Hawaiian.
yeah.
those crabs
Chia.
and animals.
Magic
and-
Crab padding.
Yeah,
crab pattern.
that was all over the place. I think that's it.
Listen, Deathloop at this point has become its own meme.
It's
Its
own
namesake meme.
permanently.
It's because we've seen so many trailers of these little killing sequences from Deathloop that it's a Deathloop. And I'm now every time there's a Deathloop trailer, I'm like, okay, we get it, right?
It is always weird too when it's brand new games, and then that one
Yeah.
is in the list.
It
which
feels
was
like
odd.
we've been watching it for so long now. It just got swallowed up by everything else.
I mean, and there is like when you look at new games that they announced, most of it wasn't surprising. I would say Wolverine. I don't know of anybody who really knew about Wolverine, so that was like a big surprise. Alan Wake
Yeah.
remake wasn't a surprise. That's one of the reasons why I posted my picture a couple days ago. But
Yeah.
it's like we sort of knew that was coming. But overall, I would say it was a pretty good show. Like if we did,
Yeah.
if you guys did numbers ratings, how about this? If we did numbers ratings, would anybody rate that less than a 1 to 10, with 5 being 50%, being both good and bad? Let's not do this bullshit where 5 is terrible. So 1 is terrible. 1 is not showing up. Or like Square. Didn't Square send a video one time to an event? I think it was like E3 where Square like literally didn't have a person on stage. They did a video. So we'll say that's 1. Would anybody rate this lower than a 7? Okay. Lower than an 8?
No.
Lower than a 9?
7.
I'd rate it an 8. So
Yeah.
9s and 10s for the rest of you, it sounds like?
Yeah, no, I'm at 7.
Well,
No, I'm
if
I'm
we're talking
I'm
just format or content as well.
Everything. Just like when
Everything.
you walked away from
Yeah,
it.
I think an 8 is very fair because, content-wise, there were maybe 1 or 2 things that are like new. But yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
and
go
I
with
think,
an 8.
I think 8, 9, 10. I think they're all
It's-
10
yeah.
would be a little. That's
Right.
pretty high. But I think overall, you walk out of it and you're like, yeah, man, we got to finally see some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Got to see a couple surprises.
It was worth the 30 minutes or whatever.
How about that? That's the way to do it. Yeah, not buy wait for a
Right.
sale, but like
But
all the way through, half of the way through, or a quarter way through, or don't watch it. That's
Pull out
exactly
it.
no. That's a perfect way of reviewing
pull
a
out
movie
immediately.
too. Pull out, yeah, pull out. No, because I'm gonna go dirty if we. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's I would watch the whole thing. That's a really good way of putting it. I didn't feel other than having an old game in there as well as the Kina or whatever that's called. It's not Kina because that's the game that is coming.
No,
but
it's called Chia.
Chia.
yeah,
Oh,
Chia
right.
Pet. Like Chia.
TCHIA.
So that one,
Yeah.
I would say. What'd you
A
guys rate
game
it?
made
Oh,
in New
Mostly
Caledonia.
7s in the chat.
mostly 7s. Creative
Yeah.
Monster. Creative Monster, by the way, is the guy who makes all the weird. Well, not all of them, but most of the weird gifs that you guys see of like Reg and me and Silver sitting in a hot tub. And the only reason he didn't put Johnny was because at that time he didn't have a picture of Johnny, just so people know we weren't like leaving Johnny out of the chat. Johnny probably isn't like fighting to get into a hot tub gif. I'm just saying.
It's okay.
I mean,
It's-
yeah.
It will happen eventually.
Unless it's with
It's
Tifa.
something to strive for, Johnny. It's something to
We-
strive
we
for.
weren't
Remember your
at that level
Cinderella
yet.
moment? This will be your porn version of it. Great Ape, 8. Leandro, 9. Luke, 7 or 8. Ravik,
Huh?
7. Lance gave it a 4.
Damn. Trying to
PlayStation gave
stand
it a
out,
5.
isn't he? He's trying to be the
Outlier.
what's the YouTuber that's always critical? The British guy?
Cynical Brit. Well, he's
Yeah.
passed away. Total Biscuit.
No, not Total Biscuit.
Gilla?
Every
I
British
think,
person.
yeah, I know who you're talking about. The
Okay, doesn't matter. Sorry.
Anyway.
yeah,
Keep
Um,
going. Yeah.
word for buy. Isn't it?
PlayStation, you're easily pleased, sir. PlayStation is in our chat. I'm just joking.
Wow.
But somebody got the PlayStation username. That's
Imagine
crazy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. Let's see. Would have been a 10 if they had announced Big Top Pee Wee, the game. Okay. I can agree with that. Let's move on to questions. First of all, I was going to play audio, and I apologize because I promised I was going to do this, but with this many people on and stuff like that, it's just too hard. I did let them listen to them, and so we are going to answer a couple of them, but I'm not gonna try to inject it when we've got this much shit going on the screen and shit's working. And the idea of like killing everything is not super high on my list. But Nor asked one thing that I thought was awesome, since most of us, not all of us, but most of us have been Discord for a long time. And he was saying, what Discord people would you compare to like movie stars or superstars? So like Takedown is, you know, and stuff like that. And I was sitting there thinking of Nor, because Nor was the one who asked it. And I could not come up with a movie star, TV star, or anything that is like Nor. Does anybody have a comparison for Nor?
Who was playing the best Riddler?
Well, the best, Jack Nicholson. Then you also have Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim
Carrey, not the Riddler.
Nicholson never played the Riddler, did he?
Oh, sorry, not the
Joker.
Riddler. Yeah, that you're
Joker.
right. I apologize, Reg. That was that was Jim Carrey then, right?
Yeah, then I would be going for that with that for Nor.
For Nor. But that's a hard question because like I was trying to think of anybody. I don't really compare anybody in our Discord to any superstars or anything like that, or even weirdos.
Yeah,
you're all weird.
Like, and none of us are, you know, Hollywood. Do you know what I mean?
Hollywood
like,
beautiful. I mean, we know that.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
We know that, man.
And I mean, we know what Silver is playing always.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Silver's been in movies. Yeah, I mean, come on. You know, Tobey Maguire.
All the poker games, yeah.
Actually, find out Silver is just playing Spider-Man in other like low-budget shit. So like Android, Android Marvel poker, and
Russian
there's Silver.
television, yeah.
Spooderman.
Oh, dude, I'm a leaner version of Jason Statham.
Yeah,
there you go.
But without the muscles, without the British accent,
or the
and
martial
actually
arts.
without any of his qualities whatsoever. Aside from a hydrodynamic haircut.
Aside from a swimmer's haircut, we'll call it.
Yeah.
It was a good question, Nora, but I can't come up with an answer, man. It's so funny. It was a weird question.
I think it's difficult with actors and stars, isn't it? You can always do it with characters more than you could. Because the actor, you don't know kind of really what they're like.
Yeah. And then Paco just wanted to celebrate. Paco's been here for a long time. He's streamed for us. And he just basically left a message and said, hey, thank you very much for you guys doing the podcast and being on here so long. And then last was Sahas, I think, if I pronounced that right. And he asks a question of me. He said, is there any update on my acquisition tweet? Because I did tweet about an acquisition that was coming up. There hasn't been anything. Trust me, if I tweet that there was something, I'll tweet if I ever find something out. But no, I didn't hear anything. And in fact, other than the one purchase of Firestrike by Sony, I'm still waiting for 2 to be sort of announced. But they take a long time. Like a long time. It's just, I thought some of these would be announced by now, especially with some companies doing events.
Yeah,
we'll move on. I'll just fucking say something. Let's what do we got? Questions in the Discord.
This question from Kel was actually from last week, but we didn't get to it. I thought it was a good question. He asked, October and Halloween are not far away. Are there any season-related games that you're planning to check out or replay?
Can we just say how cool Halloween would be? Can we all admit? You said Halloween at first.
Yeah,
I was like, that would be awesome. As a bad guy in a Batman comic, Halloween. He's got a pumpkin on his head. Motherfuckers! Yeah.
Scarecrow, man. That's what you need for that.
Oh, yeah.
Go for it, guys. So does he mean a themed Christmas game, or does he mean just in Christmas a game?
Halloween.
Well, Halloween.
Yeah.
So, like spooky, I guess? Anything spooky, maybe?
Well, Alan Wake is October 5th, 8th, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I mean, if you were going to get, you haven't played
Tokyo
it before,
Ghostwire is this year, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it also in October, or is it November?
I mean, there is also last week's indie game of the week, which was Tormented Souls.
I watched
a solid game for Halloween.
I watched a good amount of gameplay of that after Silver mentioned it, and he's right. It really is like proper reborn, old school Resident Evil.
I'll have to check that out.
Resident Evil 8. I thought that was a really good roller coaster horror.
It's very good.
Played that.
Yeah, very good. Any other questions, Johnny?
Yeah. So next question from Saggy Hammock.
It's
Amazing.
a problem that many men face. Continue.
Oh god.
The saggy
Especially as they get older.
The classic saggy hammock problem. Yeah, it's. Anyways, what's up, squad? Thank you for all your content. Look forward to hearing from you guys every week. Cheers, man. My question is, boom, you're king of the world now. And weirdly enough, everyone in the world agrees with no riots or pushbacks in sight. What is your first declaration as our fearless leader of the world? Hope you're all doing great. Cheers.
Sure, I have one in all seriousness. Everyone will have access to shelter, food, clean water, healthcare, and education.
Yeah, that'd be mine. I mean,
That about sums it up, I think.
I think that's the most sensible
there's
answer.
somebody on a street somewhere that is probably there's millions of somebodies who are Einsteins and amazing artists. That's one thing, but also just people. And the problem with us is we celebrate awesome, and sometimes you look at somebody and you're like, oh well, people treat them worse. Like, dude, seriously, they should have a house. Not a house. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but yeah, housing and money and
Equal distribution of wealth. Yeah.
Well, I ain't going that far. I don't think we should mow down people, but I don't think you would have to either. I mean, got a lot of money. There's surpluses in places. We could rob a couple, a couple narco barons or whatever, rob them of their money.
There you go.
Any other? I mean, once somebody goes eclectic like that, how are we gonna? Is anybody gonna be like,
Yeah,
I
I
make
can't
sure
really
everybody
talk about
celebrated Batman Day?
Yeah, I can't talk about butts now. Thank you, Silver.
Yeah.
God damn it.
You're welcome.
Silver had to just lay it down the realest note.
I mean, I think that's everybody would have went there though. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the end,
absolutely.
I would have said like cure cancer too, but I mean, you can't just say that.
Yeah, exactly. Make it
Yeah.
so.
Exactly.
I mean,
I know a lot of
Project-
people think you can. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
Yeah,
not
I
like
was-
nobody's trying.
Yeah, it's not like people aren't losing family
Going
members.
anywhere.
Everybody likes to pretend scientists don't exist who have lost
Yeah.
family members of the most horrible shit. Half of the scientists who are out there trying to fix shit are ones who've lost a family member to something.
Yeah.
They don't just magically are like, all right, man, let's screw everybody over. I do want to read Zachary says, great show, guys. Glad to see you back on YouTube. I hated trying to watch you guys on Twitch. Thank you for showing us we weren't worth clicking a link. Just joking. What else do we got? Any other questions?
Yeah, this question from Michelle. Saw this question online and thought I'd hear my favorite podcast members answer this. What is your biggest video game lie? Was there a boss you told everyone you beat first time, or a level, or something darker? Ooh.
Of all the things in the world not to lie about, it would probably be video games.
Video game. Ooh, it took me
I
only
feel
2
exactly the
tries.
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't care enough to lie
Sleeve,
about
do you
it.
have
Yeah.
one?
I don't think I've ever lied about finishing, not finishing a boss, beating a boss. I mean, if I can't beat a boss, I can't beat a boss. I normally just come back the following day and suddenly do it after one go.
Oh,
But it's
yeah.
taken me
Yeah, the
25
morning
fucking times.
after kind of situation happens to so many people.
I don't
when
think
it
of
comes to
anything
games.
dark or a big
I mean-
lie or anything.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, but
Sorry, go on.
no, I was just gonna say, have you guys ever had that where, like, I used to get a lot of social anxiety when I was younger, and you'd be in a group and people be talking about this like cool movie or some shit. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I saw that too," just like trying to be a part of the fucking conversation.
No,
you know?
because my friends would sniff that shit out, bro.
and then they would
Oh,
call you
yeah.
on it.
Yes!
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
it's so
okay.
funny because you're right. It probably did happen, but we were jackasses to each other. So, like, if somebody said, I saw Spider-Man, and you get that half-assed, yeah, me too. You're like, oh, did you? So what did you
Yeah.
think about? And you're making something
Yeah.
up. You're like, that's
Yeah.
weird because the second
Yeah.
part, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, I didn't see it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like actually.
Yeah, so I assume at a young
I read
age.
the back cover of the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dom, do you have
Yeah.
any?
I do not, but I would just like to announce that I played Pathfinder with no bugs at all. So just putting that out there.
There you go. I can't tell if he's lying
I
or
know
if
what's
he's
going on here.
now because he said he didn't play it, but now I'm like maybe he did and he's just fucking with
Yeah.
everybody. But I think that's a
Yeah.
lie.
I beat it. Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. I beat it in 4 hours. There's
4
a couple
hours.
times
Yeah.
where I've seen that where I'm
Yeah.
like, on Twitch watching Twitch streamers is terrible because they'll be playing it and somebody be in here and be like, dude, I beat this boss yesterday. I was drunk. I used just the A button. And you're like, bitch, the A button is inventory.
Right.
How'd you fucking beat him with the inventory?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
You're
pretty
like,
easy
you're
to know
so
whether a
full of
gamer's
shit.
lying about something, for Christ's sake. Like, for fuck's sake, I once came third, no, twice actually, in 2 different tournaments at Street Fighter 2. Back when I was a kid, teenager, in the arcade, I came third. I can easily
were there
say
only
I
2
came
people
first.
playing?
No, it was like 10 people in a tournament.
Because if there were only 2, then it'd be a lie, and it would be something worth lying about. But yeah, if you
I
came
could
in
easily
third out
say
of 10,
I came first, but why? Who cares?
yeah. Move on.
Well, I got one just super quick.
Oh, shit.
When I was in the Dota 2 thing, right? The elo was a big competitive thing, and your identity was almost associated with your elo, your rank, right? Your MMR. And if someone would have asked me back in the day, "What's your MMR?" I would always round it up a little, wouldn't I? So you know, yeah. So you round it up a little to maybe the highest you've been. You know, if you're
That's
on
a
the
good
low.
point. Do you think
Little
we
white lie.
Do you think we raise up our Call of Duty kill to kill to death
K-
ratio?
KDA?
Yeah, maybe that's because I don't.
I stand to my suck your cake.
Yeah.
KD.
Embellish. a
0-0.
little.
What? Yeah, I
much.
mean, or round up. You know, that's actually
Right.
that. But see, I don't even know the numbers, so I guess I don't. But that
Yeah.
would, I get what you're saying there. I definitely can see you rounding up. Now, if you round up by 100, well, that's one thing. If you round up by
Right,
1,
yeah.
The closest 1,000.
oh shit, man! What else
Kill
we got
100
for
players
questions?
every minute.
Yeah.
Okay,
other
so
questions,
next up, Name Band Again says, Karak, are you going to review or do a walk in the walk for Alan Wake Remastered? Published on the 5th
The 5th of what?
October.
Who says?
October.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought we were farther along in this month. Yeah, if I get a code, I definitely not a walk in the walk. I already did one. Unless something
Right.
changed, that would be weird. I think it's just a
Yeah.
remaster, right? Want to make
Yes.
sure that's
It
clear.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
probably.
I
not a
wonder,
walk.
are they including the DLCs, the 2 in that?
You know, I don't think they are. Just so
Okay.
everybody knows, I do not think that DLC is included because they didn't say,
They didn't say
you know, what they would normally do.
The
Alan Wake
game
edition.
includes both DLCs.
Well, if he just read it, then that's for sure right. They didn't put
Fact.
that on the trailer, which was really
Okay.
what I was
That's
into.
from a news from today.
Why is it that
Okay.
all these events had to put out news blogs to clarify shit?
Yeah.
Anyway,
just put the title in.
Yeah.
yeah. What else we got, Johnny?
Yeah, this one from Com Aubrey. Is there anything else in life that you've spent 6 years or more doing? Maybe something you regret and something you're happy with? Keep it classy, right?
Masturbation's classy, and that fits it.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
We all knew
like,
that was going to come up, but
yeah.
continue. If somebody's got
Okay.
one, go ahead. 6 years or more. Is there anything you guys have done? Nobody?
No. I think-
That's regrettable,
Or that you know, he said you were happy with as well.
Yeah.
Oh, my gym lifestyle. I
Yeah.
love going to the gym. Yeah.
Good on you, man.
I'll jump on that as from a mental health standpoint. Clean and sober for over 6 years. So
Excellent.
Yeah,
Congrats.
that's
Well
great.
done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And for me, playing guitar, about 12 years now.
Oh yeah.
Reg is just quiet over there. He's like,
Well, I
"Shit,
can
I've
only
done
say
nothing with
not
my
smoking
life."
since 2 years. So
There you go.
Oh,
Hell
you
yeah.
were a smoker?
Yes.
Did you
Not
see the
smoking-
distaste on my face? I didn't even get to cloud it. Really, I would never
Yes.
ever have pegged you as a smoker in a million
Massive
years.
achievement.
For a
Massive
whole
achievement.
17
Yeah.
years.
Oh, damn.
I believe.
Yes.
Did you start when you were in school? Was it one of those?
Pretty much after school.
Wow, man, that's a whole new side of you, man. I just
It's a
never
box of surprises.
Yep.
Isn't he?
smoking for sure. I don't know why. I just I would have never. What did you smoke? Did you smoke like cigars or cigarettes?
No, God, no. Regular cigarettes.
Regular
with them.
cigarettes. Okay.
Massive
Because he
cigar.
has the deep voice, and I was like, he could
Yeah,
pull off the
yeah.
Arnold on
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he could do call-ins and stuff, and be like, happy birthday. All right, what do you got, Sleeve?
Probably films. Probably my understanding of film. I'm so deep into everything to do with movies. My education was in it. Taught it for ages. Film theory. You know, my film knowledge is pretty fucking good, and I've been doing it almost my entire
If
life.
you say so yourself.
And so humble. You should.
Yeah, right.
probably.
Like, hey, it's the one thing I'm good at. I can edit quite well as well, but probably that. Probably, just really deep into the film industry and all aspects of it, and especially horror, man. I just love that shit. Love it.
I'm sure Sleeve and I are older than the rest of you, I think, and I know when I was younger, you would hear people have a career, all their career at one job. So asking 6 years is always surprising when I hear it, and then I realize just how nomadic like people's jobs are now.
Yeah.
And even myself, I switched around way more than, let's say, my mother or father did. But not as much then as the next gen and the next gen and the next gen. Like, even they traveled more than I got to travel because it cost more, it was harder. Now it's just like, well, prior to the issue we're dealing with now. But it's so interesting to hear somebody like Sleeve's done something for that long that's pretty much business, pretty much career-wise. And a lot of times you'll get people, even who are in their, 30s, or you're turning 40 tomorrow, Silver. Sometimes you'll talk to somebody and you'll be like, what have you done? And it's just 10 jobs, one every 3 years or whatever.
It's interesting. I'm also another one of those weird examples where the job I'm in now, I've been here for 8 years in this same job and company, and it's the first job I've ever had. So one job interview, one job, and still here.
That's a relatively long time for your field.
Software engineering.
Same company for 11 years now as well.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Long-term.
Yeah, I was with HP for 13. I think computer stuff is like either they're vagabonds or
if you get lucky and you find a good company with like good, like I guess values and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very difficult though, especially like, man, when I was growing up, everybody had a career. And if they did switch jobs, it was into the same career almost all the time. Yeah. And now the internet allows you to learn something, let's say.
Branch out.
People able to do network software engineering and stuff via like master classes and shit, where when I was growing up, what are you talking about? Like, that's at minimum a community college, which wouldn't even certify you. And then at maximum or at normal would be college, and now it's just, it's so
and the
amazing.
Beauty in those fields is that even if you don't have the certification, if you can get shit done, a lot of places will get you.
Bro, I don't have a degree.
They won't care.
I was really good at operations. That's how I was doing operations. I did it for 20 years. I got stuff done. And even my boss was like, well, we can't move you to this one spot. We'll just pay you 2 people's worth of wage. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
So, I was making more than everybody else there, but I was doing 2 jobs. But it was just like I was able to do it. I think now it's the operational part of people. What can you get done? The certifications for college are great, and it's
still important for some key stuff.
But sometimes you're just like, seriously, all this really proves is that guy took another 7 years to read a book that it took this guy 6 weeks to do. By the way, I worked with all PhDs on my last job. Man, I love them. The dumbest fucks you've ever worked with in your life. Operationally, they were the stupidest humans I've ever... I remember the one lady flooding... she flooded the entire floor by thinking a sink had a garbage disposal. It didn't.
Interesting.
Operationally, they were so dumb, it was mind-boggling. They couldn't figure out why Mac stuff wouldn't work on... you were like, dude, it's not a Mac. And all that crazy shit. But intelligence-wise, if you wrote a paper with them, fuck, dude... I remember the first time I got a paper back, and it was just ruined. It was like, you're the dumbest human known to man, because that's what they were good at, was that, that collegiate, deep-level thinking and stuff like that. I wasn't good at that at all. So, what other 6-year stuff? Hey, you've done this. Silver, you haven't worked at a job for 6 years in a row, really? No, you haven't, yeah. Okay, well.
I mean, for me, maybe the longest commitment to a single thing for me is probably my writing over the years, which has never really stopped.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, writing's awesome.
That's been the one constant for me. That and a love of and passion for language, for rhetoric, for the way we use linguistics.
Yeah.
Dude, when somebody knows how to use words, like I know people think he's probably cliche now, but like Aaron Sorkin, when I first heard the way he wrote dialogue, and my brain was like, the fuck is this? That's 10 times better than anything I've ever seen before. And it's like, if somebody knows how to write dialogue, depending on what you like, because some people like the classics more. We need to move on though, Johnny. What do we got for other questions?
Let's move on.
Because we still got to do indie, and actually, let's just jump. We can get those questions later. Yeah. Let's go to indie and then free games, and we'll wrap it up. So, Silver, do you want to go for? Do you want to do indies first, or do you want to put Reg on the? Okay, go ahead. I was going to say, do you want to put Reg on the spot?
So our indie game of the week is one of the most adorable, if not the most adorable game of the year. It's a 2D puzzle platformer called Webbed. It is basically you star as a spider in a forest, and your boyfriend is kidnapped by a big mean bird, and you then have to go on a quest to rescue him. It is 2D pixel art. It's like the way the spider is animated is easily one of the best animated models I've seen in a game the entire year. Like the way it moves, it doesn't have like it looks like a genuine spider in pixel art. Like it has no like cute cartoon eyes or anything, but the way it emotes and the way it moves just feel completely natural and completely compelling and adorable and cute for a spider. You do also you have an option, as if you have arachnophobia, to just turn the spider into a blob, though I do think that is a pity. So it does offer that accessibility option. But it's just it's a fun game. You swing around with your web. You can shoot web and swing around with it, similar to Spider-Man. You can also use your web to like pick up leaves off the trees and use them as a makeshift parachute. There are various puzzles that you have to clear to progress, and there's even like a skateboarding section in the game that just sort of comes out of nowhere, where you have to skateboard as the spider and do like tricks and stuff. It's adorable. It's fun. It's less than $10. It's a really, really nice palate cleanser. It's a nice feel good game. It's just overall pleasant, and I highly recommend it.
Excellent. And that's Webbed, right?
Yes.
BBED. Okay, great. I want to make sure I got it right. And what do you got, Reg, for free games?
All right. So free games first. Totally free games. Epic Game Store has Neo, the complete edition. That's Neo 1. And Sheltered. On Ubisoft, you still can get Far Cry 3. That goes till tomorrow. Then moving on to not so free stuff. That is subscription stuff. On PlayStation Now, you have Final Fantasy VII, not the remake, but the remaster, I believe. Killing Floor 2, Moonlighter, Pathfinder Kingmaker Definitive Edition, Tekken 7, and Windbound. On PlayStation Plus, you have Hitman 2, Overcooked, All You Can Eat, and Predator Hunting Grounds. And scrolling. There we go. On Game Pass, you have The Artful Escape for PC and Xbox, Breath Edge for PC and Xbox, Nuclear Throne for PC and Xbox, Crown Trick for PC and Xbox, Craftopia is from last week already. Okay, for PC and Xbox. And that's it. Yes.
Dom, anything on that list? Sounds good for you? Free?
Craftopia for the kid. Sounds right. Anything to keep the minions happy.
Well, you can go work out.
Neo 1, I thought sounded. I've never actually played either of the series. I've watched them. I love the thematics of them, but
it's so good. I'm playing it right now for the first time. I'm doing like New Game Plus DLC. It's, I would say, as good as Neo 2, maybe.
No.
Aside from improvements, no. On the gameplay level, Neo 2 improved like the UI and a lot of quality of life, but the gameplay is really solid in Neo 1 as well.
Yeah. I'm. It's one of those titles that I've had on my lists forever, and I just haven't been able to find an hour to do it. So, I will be checking that one out for sure.
Doom. Anything on those lists?
Yeah, I haven't dove into Neo yet. I've been wanting to for quite a while. I know, Johnny, you're a big fan of the stamina-based, third-person action. I love that stuff too. So Neo's been on my list. What? Did any of you guys play Breath Edge?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. I thought it looked somewhat interesting. Might check that out too.
Yeah.
On that list, there really isn't much for me.
Okay. Wait, Karak, have you played Overcooked? Any of those games?
Overcooked is fun. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
My partner calls it Divorce Generator.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sleeve, any on that free list for you?
Not really. Same as you. Maybe Neo. I didn't ever finish it, but apart from that, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the
Not
thing
a
is
standout
they're
one for
all.
me.
It's not necessarily bad. It's just I've either played them or already seen them and been like, been there,
Yeah.
done that, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's awesome that, especially now with the world the way it is, that people can get that for 15 or whatever's for Game Pass.
Yeah.
All these,
Yeah.
like, it's just crazy. And I think Epic's been pretty good. I mean, you know, far be it for me to say anything positive about them, those shitbirds. But for the most part, some of the free games Epic's given has actually been pretty fucking cool. And what was it last week or the week before? Ubisoft let Watch Dogs Legion. People just jump into that. And I know that it wasn't getting tens, but that's a Watch Dogs game that, you know, you may jump into and may want to, like, it's cool. It's very cool to be able to play those and be able to jump into those in today's day and age when, I mean, in fact, Sony's event, the one negative I came out of it was that they didn't announce some kind of Game Pass competitor, because the rumor had been that the diamonds on the front page on their video was going to be like platinum, you know, like a diamond version of their online, which would give you free games or better stuff than we get from them. Because right now, man, that buys a lot of consumer love. You know, Game Pass buys a shit ton of consumer love. It's
Yeah.
just, we don't have money anymore, man. I don't know what people are thinking. Sometimes you'll see like Sony with the $79 games or whatever they are, 69.
Game Pass
Yeah.
has been an absolute savior for me. The amount of games that come out that I play, I think I finished 12 minutes last week. Just the amount that they throw at you. And it's always really diverse now as well. There's so much cool content.
Yeah.
Psychonauts 2 I need to get into. There's so many cool games.
And it's
It's
not
a
even,
no-brainer. You have to
Yeah.
have it.
It is a no-brainer. It is.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Don?
and it's not like, do you remember the old VHS agreements with the cinemas that they always had to do it, like first it was a year
Yep.
and then 6 months? There's none of that bullshit. It's
Right.
like, we'll
It's
give it
day
to you
and date.
day one.
Yeah.
Day
And
and
I'm
date,
like,
yeah.
it's just a no-brainer. It's just so good. Absolutely. Now, on a side note, I feel like I'm going to open a massive can of worms asking this, but what's your distaste of Epic?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. The 10-cent stuff, the way they dealt with me behind the scenes, the
Okay.
lack of even having a fucking cart in their store. They just wanted your cash. They couldn't even figure out how to make a cart for their own store before going live. Everything about Epic behind the scenes I have distaste for. But I'm not going to lie and say that they don't offer people. And the thing is, that's what these podcasts are for, man. I always tell people that's what the patron's for. That's what the podcast is for, is this kind of talk. So in a review, I'm going to review the game. Is it worth it? But I'm not going to sit there and explain to you the shit I hate about Tencent or something.
Well, also Tim Sweeney, he's just
Or Tim Sweeney, who's like smokes more dope than any. That motherfucker's lit. 90% of the time he talks, I'm like, bitch, man, lay off. And by the way, he has responded to me 2 or 3 or 4 times. There's my patron link. Become a patron, people listening, if you love me. But seriously, podcasts, right? That's the place. You see a lot of people getting moralistic in reviews, and the honest truth is I can get moralistic with you guys. But if I'm pretending a game sucks, then that's not actually reflective, and that means then I need to adjust everything for every other game, and pretty soon everything's out of whack because you've adjusted everying. And so that's why I love doing the podcast on Fridays. There's been times where I've been tired, to wrap this up, but there's been times where I've been tired and I'm like, okay, we've got to do the podcast, but I'm a little, like, it's been a long day or whatever. And especially when I was doing 16 hours of this, now we sit down and talk about games. Almost every time I leave here, we've talked about shit, like all this inner working stuff, and you sort of contain it to a podcast. And I think that's a better time because blurbs are dangerous as fuck. Like, as dangerous as fuck. You could take that blurb and you could say, Karak just said this, and people
remove the
could
context.
remove the context. And yet, that's one of the things I love about podcasts, man. It's like where somebody can say, well, what do you mean? Why did you just say that? Like you said, the world in Spider-Man needs to get bigger. If I said that in a review, fucking people would shit themselves. They'd be like, how do you make it bigger? It's the fucking city because it's supposed to be like a 1-for-1, not a 1-for-1. You get my drift.
Yeah.
But you were able to explain what exactly we're talking about. And that's thanks to you guys for showing up for 6 years, because like that's, for me, this is like one of the ways I go into the weekend, where I can go into the weekend and be like, all right, I got this shit off of my, back of stuff I dislike. I'm happy, Dom, if you love Epic. I'm not. That's one of the things is I'll bitch about something. I hated Steam for years. For years I hated Steam. I mean, hated them. They fucked me over so many times.
Well, I mean, there's still enough reason to.
There's probably still enough reason to. But you see people holding on to hates for a long time too. Man, I had a guy who just recently was like, I'll never buy a Nintendo system. Now, I thought it was going to be something about the Switch. This motherfucker brought up that they got Sega Genesis games pulled from the Toys R Us in like, what is that, 89? And I was like,
yeah, it would be. Yeah.
That's a long time to hold on to a hate. That's a long time to hold on to it. Yeah. That's a book of woe from the dwarves in like Warhammer.
Yeah, the Book of Grudges.
Book of Grudges, yeah. Like that shit's like, I'm writing this in blood.
Stolen in the book.
Yeah. Or like a family reunion where like those two uncles don't talk. And you're like, but why? They're like, we don't talk. It's just some of that stuff I think needs to go away. We're always really good about that, I think.
There's always that refrain that I love, that the kind of resentfulness is like ingesting poison and expecting the other person to die.
Exactly.
Which I think is from like Alcoholics Anonymous or something.
Is that from Alcoholics Anonymous? I've always liked that.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
That is exactly. I mean, it only is poisoning the other. We deal with it when we're like training people for public speaking. And people will be like, how do you, and I'll be like, listen, dude, 90% of people worry more about what they look like and what they're doing, blah, 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 than you. Yeah, sure, you might get teasing you, but for the most part, people aren't worried and thinking about you.
That's true.
You know, and social media can make you think that. So, people, I've had YouTubers where they're just like, I think I'm going to quit. I'll be like, well, why? Oh, blah, 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 said something bad about me. And I'll be all, so turn off the fucking screen. You won't be able to see it. How many people are we seeing leave Twitter now? Tons of people are leaving Twitter and leaving, and I think that's a positive. You know, I don't want people to leave this YouTube, but you know, you should be able to do that. Do we have anything else?
I think that's about it.
I forgot.
All give yourselves a round of applause. 6 years is no small feat.
Absolutely.
No, Cheers. It's awesome. It's awesome, man. Technically, not to make light of it, but I'm 6 years unsober now. These guys make me drunk with love.
6 years back in the bag.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to make light of that because I do have family members and you know, same kind of issues. But sometimes you got to poke fun at shit.
100%.
World's a terrible fucking place. You got to laugh a little bit, otherwise you'll scream all day. So
absolutely.
Do you guys have anything, Dom? Again, because people may have jumped in, you have a channel. Please give your channel information and what video you're doing.
Hello, everyone. So at the moment, I'm reviewing and looking at the game Lost Ark, the one Karak doesn't know about. So you can find me on the Talking Boxes network. I review a huge amount of MMOs. I tend to bring the news about games that are coming 3 years into the future. A lot of indie dev trailers as well. I'll go through and rip apart and divulge to you to pick up at a later date. But if you like a little bit of silly British humor, then find me there. And thanks for having me, by the way.
Yeah, it was a pleasure for sure. You can come on anytime. What about you, Johnny? What do you got?
Yeah, so tomorrow I'm playing this game called Kiwi, which is on the Switch and on PC. It's this cute, like, two-person co-op, like cooperation, coordination game. Kind of like It Takes Two, but you're like cute little birds or something. And I'm playing that with a friend tomorrow on stream on Twitch. And again, doing the weekly discussion videos on my YouTube channel.
Excellent. And last but not least, Reg. What are you streaming? I'm just joking. Reg is like, I feel like I'm put on display. Sid, are you doing anything, Sleeve?
Yeah, I've got more talking title screens on my main channel. So that's just Citizen Sleeve on YouTube. I'll be trying to add more content on there. And the Last Edit podcast with Silver, of course. We've been going through all the Coen Brothers films. We got done with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I've got 2 ready to go. And then we've got The Man Who Wasn't There coming up next. So that's just the Last Edit podcast on YouTube.
Excellent. And hopefully you're here because you actually know about the channel, ACG, and you will see some reviews from me that are coming up.
I do have something to send us off, possibly. Just a classic song that I think is appropriate for the occasion.
Go for it.
Though we ain't got a barrel of money, maybe we're ragged and funny. We're walking along, singing our song, side by side. Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? Just as long as we're together, it doesn't matter at all. 'Cause when they've all quarreled and parted, we'll be the same as we started, just traveling along, singing our song, side by side.
Bravo.
Excellent. Silver's
Hell
one of the
yeah.
few people that'll sing live on camera. Well, Reg will. Well, Johnny will.
But not
I
here.
do it too, yeah.
You guys
I
will.
as
I
well,
won't.
yeah, we're all.
What were you gonna say, Doom? Were you gonna say something?
No,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
bravo.
I'll sing. Yeah, bravo.
Oh, fuck no. No,
Bravo.
no
Most
singing
people.
for me,
Most
yeah.
people. What about you, Dom?
Uncle.
What about you, Dom? Will you?
For the occasion.
Will I sing? Absolutely. I just need to remember the words. That's the only conundrum.
Well, you don't have to. I was just asking if you were brave enough to do it.
Do it now.
Yeah. No, I
Really? Man, I can't sing. I can't sing on live. Well, oh, and he's got the fedora. That'll finish it off. Black and
Oh,
white
yeah.
detective
Nice.
noir. In the video, I'm gonna have to do the like LA noir music, the doo doo doo,
Yep.
and zoom down to Silver. But thank you, Dom. Thank you, Doom. You guys are awesome.
Of
Thanks for
course.
being a part of the a part of the patron.
Thanks for having us.
And everybody else, thanks for being a part of whatever cool bit of the ACG channel you can get. And if you're not a part, that's still fine. We just don't like you as much. That's it for us. Peace out. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace out. Thank you very much, Dom.